Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Garena Survivors, and my name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia, as your shoutcasters for the day. We already know the kind of drama that has unfolded in semifinals 1, and in semifinals 2, a similar drama has unfolded, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, with NRX 420 initially not hitting hard at all at the very end of the day, managing to grab that second place. But the most impressive one of the day has still got to be the Vagabonds Nomads, who have managed to very dominantly reach that #1 spot, Neptune.
Yeah, not only reaching #1 spot, but they have maintained it. And the expectation set was from their brothers, Vagabonds Esports.
Yes.
And this time it is the I would say the brothers who has been in the shadows for so long of Vagabonds Esports,
Yeah.
Vagabonds Nomads, who have seen the light of day. And how well will they be able to maintain this? As you mentioned, AJ, NRX 420 has moved up drastically
Yeah.
from when they started yesterday and
Yeah.
how they ended it. So how long will they be able to maintain it? That will be a question that will be seen by the end of today.
Absolutely, man. It looks like the dinosaurs are not extinct just yet, but we still have to see whether or not there will be a comet that hits at the grand finals later on. Will NRX 420 be able to make it through to the grand finals to continue their rivalry with the Four Kings? We will have to wait and see, because once again, Neptune, when the day started yesterday, it just really kind of felt like the Kings of All are going to continue remaining the Kings of All. But I did manage to get a little bit of data. There has been a community tournament where NRX 420 has managed to finish in the #1 spot, beating both Four Kings as well as Vagabonds Esports, Vagabonds Nomads, all of them put together. So that in a certain flavor shows the capability of NRX 420. But can they get it done in the official tournament is still the question, because, you never know exactly how serious the other teams were there. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But here is exactly where it counts, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. And it also it matters as well
Yeah.
as fatigue factor. If it is a
Yes.
back-to-back tournaments, knowing this team, they will not be shying out of going tournament back-to-back. So
Correct.
if it is a fatigue factor for other teams who have joined both survivors, and that I would say kudos to NRX 420 because they jumped in tournament to tournament and then
Yeah.
ending it in a great manner,
Yeah.
in a dominating manner.
Yes.
So it's still not over for them. A lot of expectation has been set already from all these teams, but our eyes are on those who are moving up on the top.
Our eyes are most definitely on those who have the ability to run their mouths as well.
Mhm.
As we have discussed already, Neptune, the scene is built on great rivalry. There will be a point where more of these teams start to speak up and they start getting a little bit more confident with their dominance out there on the battlefield. That is something that I definitely want to see, because, yeah, the war of words will definitely be there when there is that rivalry going on out there. But all is fair in love and war for sure, minus the toxicity, right? We don't really need
Mhm.
that from the comment section. We don't need that from the fan base. Let the players do the challenging, let the players do the talking, and let them also do the walking out there on the battlefield. For the time being, all of them who have managed to, allow some words to escape through their lips, through their teeth, have also managed to keep up to those words, which is something that is quite nice to see in the scene, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, you've asked them to walk the talk. And
Yeah,
that is what they're doing right now,
yeah,
showing us that whatever they say can be put into the battlefield. And
yeah.
the battlefield is just really what we are going to see in the survivors.
Yes, sir.
Now, for those fans out there, the viewers out there, the comment section, yeah, it should be a neutral battlefield
Mhm.
wherein you are cheering up for those teams that you really want to move up and keep away from toxicity, wherein you might hit some nerves out there and increase more of the negativity.
But of course, in terms of increasing, what the players will be looking for is increasing their own points amassed on the leaderboard, because the top 8 will be moving on through to the finals. This is the tournament format, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. At the semifinals, we have 32 teams divided into 2 groups. The first group has already concluded their fight, and we have our top 8 teams who are waiting for us at the finals, which will commence after we are done with semifinals 2, which is the second half of the 32 teams, and that is Group B, and that is the battle that you're witnessing today. Today's day number 2 of semifinals 2, and we will go through both of the maps in both of the perspectives, TPP as well as FPP as usual, Neptune.
Yeah, and if you look at the difference of round number 5 and number 6, it is a switch of blackout and isolated, though the perspective will still be the same. Round number 5 will still TPP, but this time it's on blackout, and round number 6 will be FPP on isolated,
Yeah.
contradicting to what we've seen yesterday. So this is a good mix to really weed out those who cannot adjust based on the perspective as well as the map. And this is a good thing that Green has brought in this, because this is really a chance for everyone, for the teams, to show us that it's not just one specific mode, one specific perspective and map that they can go into and fight, but they can also adjust and then do more things on other perspective.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And it just forces the team to step out of their comfort zone, to step out of the usual way they play the game and test them at every single quarter out there. And there have been a couple of teams who have been taking advantage of the change of perspective. Teams like Four Kings, for example, who really
Mhm.
have sharpened their skills at FPP, and that's where they bag a majority of their kills. But teams like Vagabonds Nomads, on the other hand, they seem to have consistency, although not on a breakout run, but they still do manage to bag quite a lot of points from both the maps and both the perspectives. And that's exactly what makes the team like Vagabonds Nomads the greatest kryptonite for teams like Four Kings, who only excel at a certain map or certain mode. But of course, ladies, German boys, girls, that's exactly what we saw in semifinals. One things can change at the grand finals later on as well, as the strategy switches for some of those squads out there, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how what more they have to offer in here, because for this tournament, for the Garena Survivors, this is what the teams will be taking home. This is what Garena has to offer for those who are exceeding expectation and giving them everything, giving us
Yeah.
all that they have right now for this tournament. Moving in at the bottom, there will be 13 to 16 spot will be taking home 250 US dollars. 9 to 12 will be taking home 500 US dollars. Fifth to eighth will be taking home 750 US dollars. And we're talking about each of
Mhm.
those teams and not just accumulated. From the first to the fourth, it will be a huge increase, AJ, compared
Yep.
from what we mentioned.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And when you want to take home a slice of the prize pool, obviously you want your lion's share. And if you hit that number one spot, 10,000 US dollars, my friend, 40 plus thousand ringgit, half a million pesos in the mix there. Obviously, that's exactly what all of the teams out there want. But there are very few dominant teams in the competition who have set themselves apart from the rest. But the thing that I have noticed here is, Neptune, that although some of these teams have that breakout run, they don't really have that consistency in maintaining their huge lead over the other teams out there. And every single time a team seems to step their pressure out there on the battlefield, it is always matched by a couple of other squads out there. It just always seems like they're waiting for that challenge. They're waiting for someone else to step it up and ask them, is this all you've got, right? And that's exactly what I love about semifinals one, and it's happening at semifinals two as well.
Yeah, I mean, love how some of the teams who we've seen who get not that much on the points are really taking down some of those we are expecting a lot. But
Yeah.
this time, this is where they are getting all those points that we keep mentioning. The placement points right now has changed compared to the previous tournament because of the number of teams who are participating on semifinals. Right here, we have 16 teams only. Thus, reducing our number one spot to only 10 points. But as we go below, taking down or taking out 4 points, that will be the second, and it goes down to 7 and 8, who will be taking only 1 point if they get that placement. Unfortunate for those going into 9th and 16th, 0 points for them. So they need to make it up on the kill points, AJ.
Yep. And of course, all of those kills have been helping out teams like Vagabonds Nomads so far. They have not only gone out there and slain, but they are your biggest slayers so far. 83 kills out there on the battlefield from both Isolated as well as Blackout has just made them that one team to beat. But NRX 420 not too far away from them. And from there onwards, you do see other teams like AMT Prime as well as SDPH Philippines. But let's take a look at semifinals two as well as their participants, ladies, German boys, girls. spot number 1 and 2 by Vagabonds Esports as well as Vagabonds Nomads. Now, these two brothers surely know how to run that lobby, man. And Vagabonds Nomads just rising above all of the challenges and doing even better. In fact, outclassing even Vagabonds Esports out there on the battlefield. NRX 420, we've talked about them a lot already, currently embroiled in a rivalry with the Four Kings. A lot of words have been thrown out there, and they needed to walk their talk. And yesterday, most definitely, we saw them walk. We saw them even skip, jog, and run to make sure they do not let their fans down. And it's just a heated battle out there on the battlefield. AMT Prime, currently they have the third spot in the competition, sitting down right behind NRX 420. Now, this was the team that was acquired by Almighty. They're still a Filipino squad, but you just have to respect Almighty, man. They know quality when they see it, gentlemen.
Yeah, and speaking of quality, I'm expecting a lot more that will be happening of the quality of tournaments that we're going to get, especially as Almighty jumping into the Battle Royale scene. And then this is just the start. But there you have it, guys. We have the team participants, and later on, we are going to see the leaderboards as to how much points they are already gathered from day number 1. Starting it off from the top, as we keep mentioning, Vagabonds Nomads has already dominated this, especially with the kill points, making it a total of 111. A huge lead against number 2, which is NRX 420, who has 86 points. But we all know from what we've seen yesterday, AJ, that they didn't do that well from the first part of the series. And as they jump into round number 5 and 6, that's where they really pop off, bagging the two wins that they have, increasing their points and their chance or their place on the leaderboard.
And surprisingly, Vagabonds Esports sits down at the 5th spot, man. 51 points overall, followed by Royal King, Cerulean Legion, as well as TNC Supremo. And if you look on the right-hand side, it's not necessary that those teams have to stay there today, because just like what we saw, there were some teams who rose up to the occasion, rose up to the fight on day number 2 within semifinals 1. And the two teams that did that was the team from SGMY, as well as your one and only Amethyst Esports. You know, when we looked at ABC Mystic and the amount of improvement they showed on day number 2 and 3, it was phenomenal, man. No one would have been able to guess that based on the performance, as well as, you know, how much they showed up on day number 1. So none of the teams on the right-hand side can be counted out just yet. I mean, for example, if you look at Easy Reborn Esports Magna, yeah, they struggle. Yeah, you know, they don't really seem to be doing so well in the competition. But we've seen a lot of potential from this team. And not just them, Alpha, Ape, Sigma, Poseidon, all of these teams, they've had their own highlight moments out there on the battlefield. But just luck hasn't been on their side so far. Also with some of that rotations, we know how many times those teams have shared those drop spots out there. And today's the day they fix some of those mistakes, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, we stress so much about doing the homework, as well as finding a drop spot wherein you will be comfortable starting your battle, because that is where everything starts. The moment you drop, you get all your resources, and then you jump into the battle. And it's no question that these teams will be able to go in for the engagement against everyone else on this list, because they were able to step into the semifinals. But how they started off, how they prepare for that, that is the great question. As we start the game right now, going in from the south to the north, from practice range to Ski Town, we are expecting like targeted drop points already, AJ, as we have reviewed the data right now. Looking at a Team N, they will target Nuketown, and also they have choppers in there available. But surprisingly, AJ, we've seen the platform so many times, but no one has taken it.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, right? Because the platform just being a high tier contention area just doesn't seem to be the greatest of idea to hop on into. At semifinals 1, we just saw two teams continuously go in and fight for that. We saw PV, we saw NRX69, and obviously it didn't do them any good. And clearly, semifinals 2, their participants have learned from the mistakes of their friends from semifinals 1, and it's great to see that fact then.
Yeah, and this time we are still seeing a lot of teams who have been expected to drop on, especially NRX 420 or in downtown. But earlier we've seen teams of Royal Kings and TNC If I'm not mistaken, this is TNC's Emperors right now, who jumped in and knocked on the doors of Royal Kings. We've seen so far that Royal Kings has dominated the Nuketown already, and them jumping in and crashing the party in this area, well, they still have a lot of things to prove, because this so far has been one of the greatest battlefields. Well, we've seen four teams battling it out, and TNC really didn't do that well on those fights.
So yeah, absolutely, man. But you know, I am super excited to see a name in the lineup of NRX 420. The one and only Peanut is in the mix, and this guy is a little firecracker, man. I mean, the guy's tiny, all right? Physically, he's tiny, but dude, he has got the personality of a giant, and he can put a smile on anybody's faces. But at the same time, when he gets serious out there on the battlefield, it's just ubos all the way, Neptune. Great to see Peanut right back in the lineup of NRX 420. Excited to see exactly what he can contribute in here today. But NRX 432, this is a team that very quickly hops on into farm and slays the Butcher from the very early parts of the game, mainly because they want to beef themselves up with their firepower. And I think that's a great idea, because that's one of the high contention area that we don't really see a lot of players going in for. I mean, the Butcher is quite the risky play. So NRX 432, they do take a calculated risk here, but no one has challenged them for it just yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge map in there, and also with how the levels are with the farm, you'll be able to set yourself whether on the third, first, or third, second, and first level. But there, NRX 432 has found their home and also secure a lot of loots with the Butcher. But how well will they be able to use it in the battlefield so far? Ending up on the placement that they have on number 15, they need to change it up on the rotations, as well as challenging other teams in a different approach, because yes, you are prepared, but you don't have what it takes to go against a team earlier on, or probably later into the game, thus being eliminated early. So they need to find a way to resolve that real quick.
KPH now just waiting for the players of Easy Reborn to approach before they can strike. As you can see, they've already taken all of those vantage points. Aki with the bird's eye view, awaiting Easy R. And the flank from Baked as well on the right-hand side is perfect to catch them out. But Easy R is waiting for KPH instead. This is just a standoff between the two. Who's going to be able to, or who will make the mistake of coming in for the approach first? Or will it be the perfect ambush? This is where all of those tacticals, some of those lethals need to be used as well. If you've got your cluster grenades, if you've got your Novas, you want to be tossing it at your enemy, forcing them out of their defensive positions and striking from up top. And Aki is in the best spot to do it, alongside the M4 LMG that serves up 100 bullets in its mag. Perfect to continuously spray down the opponents from up top, Neptune.
And we've seen the damage it can do against one who's trying to escape, and that is what Aki has right now. And this rivalry is just bound to happen, because we have Easy Reborn, who usually drops on Crash, and we have KPH Wicked, who goes into practice range. How they near those areas are, it is bound to happen that they will be meeting in between, and that is what's happening right now. All we have to do is wait as to how will that end. But this time, NRX 432 has ended already in launch phase, moved that quickly from where we saw them from the farm, and they are about to challenge, or we'll have to see if they will be challenging the Alpha 8 Wrath on launch phase.
They will be doing that as ENC is spotted out here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and they will be quickly repositioning themselves right after getting all of their chips upgraded. And they do have the ATV, which is perfect in terms of mobility, but also leaves you open to fights as well as gunfire as you are driving by. So not the best of things to use out there on battlefield, especially in a lobby like this, man. The accuracy of some of those players out there is just truly terrifying, Neptune.
Yeah, and we've seen how well some of the teams that utilize the snipers, not only in Blackout, but also in Isolated. So those are the teams that you need to look out for, especially when you're battling it out on, or we're trying to rush into a specific point of the map. You'll need to find out where they're dropping, where they will be moving on the rotations, as well as trying to avoid those paths, especially if you don't have the resources that you got from the first drop. But this time, I think Alpha Wrath or Alpha 8 Wrath will be moved away from battle against NRX 432, which is smart, because they need to get a tactical position and probably hit these teams by surprise instead of battling them on head to head. But Sacred Poseidon, we've seen the aggressiveness from this team of Sacred Poseidon. They jump into battle, hearing those gunshots, prioritizing on airdrops as we are looking at right now. Biscuit, the damage the Biscuit can do in team versus team is exceptional. But this time they're going against the Backbuds with no mass, AJ.
Oh, Poseidon Biscuit manages to get one taken down, but the guy moves on and Biscuit is eliminated as well. Vagabond, they are almost losing Travis and perfectly. Tarzan alongside Wagner, still alive and kicking. Repositioned. Tarzan needs to focus on getting his armor beat right back up, but he doesn't and gets shut down. Wagner, opportunity to get away, has got the ORB nearby, and then is the getaway trick by him, but no! Jumps out of the vehicle, didn't need to, and pays a huge price for it. Vagabond Snowmans with the first strike and elimination of a squad.
No questions real there on the battle of Vagabond. That they can put out a lot in this play, but this time another team is battling and the airdrops. The visibility in airdrops is in all of those teams together, and that's where we usually see engagement after we have or they have finished the first drop. But this time we have Alpha 8 right now going against Vagabonds Esports, and a lot of teams are just waiting for this to conclude for them to vulture and third party.
Oh yeah, but SDPH might just be a little too late to the party because Vagabonds Esports are feasting on the apes now as the apes scramble away, and they're not going to get caught anytime soon, as we also see SDPH very slowly trying to flank the positions of Vagabonds Esports. But the attack is not going to be solid because they do not have that vantage point. And also, they have to be careful because the approach from teams from the back. We have got He Phoenix moving on into the same location alongside Almighty Prime. This is turning out to be a party all of a sudden, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many are in there right now, specifically the teams, but a lot of members, a lot of teams right now has rushed in, and we'll have to find out. Merc has been taken down in there by Yato, and the spray with that MAC-10 really is a damager. Now, I think there's only 2 members left for this team of HE Phoenix, and they need to scramble the same as what we've seen from APE. But Almighty is not really pulling out. They are slowly moving up in there, and we'll have to see how their position go against Vagabonds Esports.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, why would Almighty Prime pull out? I mean, they are one of the most dominant ones on the battlefield, and this is one of the best engagements that we can ask for. Vagabonds now taking on Almighty Prime. GB repositions with the snowboard. He calls for the rest of his team members as well, but they are a little too far away. Yato has been spotted on towards the right, trying to flank the players of Almighty Prime, but Yen will be sorting him out while GB repositions and recovers some of his armor, and they disengage from that battle, whereas Vagabonds, they move on forth to the next squad for the shutdown. Who are they gonna find? It is gonna be the one and only TNC right down below them. And can TNC get away from all of the shutdown plays? NRX 432, my apologies. Clyde manages to slip and slide out through the window, still needs to recover a little bit more. Great on the play, but unfortunately, Nash is just a little faster.
Nash in there with 2 kills already to their name. Still no slowing down for them, and still 4-man strong. They can turn around and get back to Almighty, who have been waiting, had regrouped already. And the role that Vagabonds Esports are doing right now is what we asked for from day number 1. They really didn't show up from day number 1, thus they have been overtaken by their brothers. But this time, I think this is where they are going to give us more great shows.
This is AMC, the one and only NRX 420 with Peanut in the lineup, but so far 0 kills and a crash maybe. Yes, they will, but they quickly avoid that obstacle. NRX 420, they seem to have dropped 1 player off. It doesn't seem like Boji is together with them, and he doesn't seem to have a vehicle on him as well. So a curious play coming through from NRX 420. The players of Vagabonds on the other hand, Vagabonds Esports continuing to move on after they've shut down 7 players already. Vagabonds Nomads now right in front of them. Will they be able to take this high tier, not high tier, the high ground position and shut them down? 1 player right up top from Team Cerulean Legion as well will avoid that engagement with Vagabonds Esports. But here comes that fight. Vagabonds Nomads up against Vagabonds Esports. The Nova has been popped already. Information for the side of Vagabonds Esports. They know that they have to look onto the left-hand side. But Vagabonds Nomads, they disengage. They do not want that attack just yet. And that fight will not happen now, Neptune.
Being the low ground, as crash as it may be, with those buildings right there, it will be very difficult for them to move around, especially with the usage of the snowboard right now as an escape, just in case you are cut through at the end. Then that is one thing that Vagabonds Nomads really took into consideration. And with Vagabonds Esports traversing the edge of the safe zone, they have also great vantage point from the other side. So this time, Vagabonds Nomads will be backing off, but they are seeing some coming back from the revive flight and might be taking advantage of that, the same as Almighty Prime right now.
Kai unfortunately shuts himself out of the equation when AMT Prime NRX 432 has been caught out, but this battle happens outside of the safe zone. Swalla down by the Mac-10 in the hands of Chase, and now they continue hunting down the players of NRX 432. Almighty Prime, now that they know exactly who they have in front of them, they do not slow down and they move in for the chase, but they will get distracted by another squad in here. Vagabonds Nomads, they drop by. SDPH in the same location as well. All out chaos will continue, Neptune.
Gatekeeping will be done by Vagabonds Nomads right now, but it's a good thing that they were able to jump in. Oh, there goes a takedown against Dre, but GB was able to get back against 3T on the other side. A lot of teams are still in here, and the gunshots are not moving. Here comes Travis right now with a sidestep, and there goes the kill. And Chase will be taken down. How many more can they take against Vagabonds Nomads? That is the question, because I think the rest of the teams who have been in here have backed off, because the kings of group number 2 are here to stay.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. 9 kills so far, and Vagabonds Nomads don't look like they're slowing down at all. NRX 420, big fight coming up. Vagabonds Esports Nash down already. Boji, he gets traded out, and Zeus gets taken down by Lukey as well. Very quickly now, it's getting turned on NRX 420. Blue, can he hunt more of those players from the side of NRX 420? Kape from afar. And it doesn't seem like Peanut is anywhere nearby, Neptune.
Yeah, Peanut has been taken out early into the game before Boji has been taken down. So Cafe is the only one remaining from NRX 420, and they need to strategize on how to get those dog tags. Knowing that this is safe zone as well, a little bit in the middle of the next safe zone as we move into fourth phase, we have yet to see Vagabonds Esports move out for a chance for 420 to get back. But if not, then they will be easily guarding the dog tags of NRX 420, thus reducing the chance of them dominating the scene.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what Vagabonds Esports wants. At the end of the day, they know that NRX 420 is trying to catch up to their brothers Vagabonds Nomads, and if they can do to help keep their brand up top with a dominant hold, they are most definitely going to do that. So the gatekeeping on those dog tags, a huge probability now. But for how long will Vagabonds Esports hold on to those routes? We will have to wait and see. Alpha 8, on the other hand, is engaging very slowly with the players from the side of Helixious Vicious. So one by one, they toss out the Nova, forcing Helixious to move away from their defensive position. Unable to take any shots, Helixious has to wait for the Nova to run its course. And it is going to be the Alpha 8 to secure a tank now for themselves as well. Those grenades flying on through, trying to take the tank out, but it looks like the tank will take itself out through all of those accidents there.
Sage right now really having trouble driving this tank, and it's been a while since we've seen a tank put into play, and probably the efficiency of the team to use that is, I mean, it's very, very small compared to what we've seen. I think it was Vagabonds Esports who usually use that to their advantage, either as offense or defense, because the moment it explodes, that would a great cover for a team to be able to hang back. Now, this time, we have Vagabonds Nomads right now seeing TNC, and TNC BS will be taken down in there, or not yet, but the push is on by the rest of the team.
Look at this, man. The players of Vagabonds Nomads not slowing down at all. But Travis, is he going to make a mistake now? Very carelessly hops on out. Not punished just yet. Niana catches this here. And that's what we're we're talking about. DNC repositions. Virus will have to back away. But the damage has already been done here. And lucky for the side of DNC Supremo that Niana stepped up, because with that shot, with that knock onto Esir, it made Vagabond's Nomads slow down just a little bit so that they can pick their brother up. And that will give the players of DNC a little bit of leeway to back away now from this engagement. But the circle is going to be forcing everyone together. 37 still alive out there on the battlefield. And as you can see, Vagabonds, they are the closest ones to that circle. But right beside them, it will be DNC Supremo for the attack as they reposition Neptune.
And as well as Vagabond Nomads right now taking the high ground level to Vagabond's Esports. We'll have to see how well will this go for both these teams. I mean, the brand knows each other already and they know how the tactics will go, but everyone surrounding them, because of how the safe zone is moving, will prove difficult for them to really smart or outsmart anyone on in front of them. Now Helixus right now is doing a smart move of traversing the edge of the safe zone, but as it closes, they will be meeting up Is Reborn as well as other teams who have also taken the same idea.
And Virus now from afar, can he take advantage of this? Needs to flank from the right. KPA on the attack now, as they're outside of the zone, not caring much for his own health. Now has to reposition, stops that engagement, but makes sure he plays it safe. Grabs all in front of him, not gonna find anyone just yet, and he will see the players of HE drive by as well. And he, Phoenix, do not find anyone to run over. That has been their meta so far, Neptune. Run people over, finish them off. This time it's Merc with those drives.
Merc right now, the Merc with the mouth, we'll have to see if that will work for him. But the Yeti will be dying in the zone. A lot has been dying in the zone right now. This engagement that has been happening in the middle of it. There goes Initi being taken down as he goes in for the airdrop. And Swish right now will see, or might see, one of the TNC right here on the tower, who's just hiding out, trying to go for the fetal position and hide out from those gunshots. And one thing out here, who is Bottless Rewind! Not that quick on that press, but was able to get away from Har's way.
Oh, GG, man. Virus just turning things around here, because Easy Reborn was shutting down players from the side of Vagabond's Nomads, one after the other. But they easily get turned on now. Dustin still surviving. Obviously won't be able to bring Tinky as well as Finks. The players of Vagabond's Nomads out of the equation. Virus gets stuck in the trap. And that was a perfect setup by Dustin. Jaeger for the backstab as well. And Vagabond's Nomads have been kicked down a couple of notches, but Team C still alive and kicking. We thought NRX 420 were all done and dusted earlier on, ladies and gentlemen. Those two more players on their side as they continue moving on in. Vagabond's Esports from the back as Phoenix continues moving on in as well. Both of those teams should come across each other, but Easy Reborn, by taking out Vagabond's Nomads from the equation, he has done all of the other things that they've been helping them.
Yeah, definitely. And here comes Vagabond's Esports right now, clearing in style with 14 kills already and out of the smoke. Naturally, going for the kill. Peanut will be hit by Loki from the side and blew it back up. And it's good distance that Vagabond's Esports are doing right now, because getting close will be very difficult for the SMGs that we've seen so far. So Bloom is doing them justice to be able to hit them from afar.
Yesterday was the day of Vagabond's Nomads. Today, Vagabond's Esports have been on up. And Traffic gets taken out by Lukey as well. 17 kills so far. Make that 18 as Vagabond's Esports rise back up to the top to grab their #1 spot.
This is the show that we have been waiting for from Vagabond's Esports. And this time for round number 1, they have brought us to us. Great show from all the teams, but for round number 1, it is Vagabond's Esports who will take that, and who will take that with a lot of kills and points for them.
I really was wondering exactly where Vagabond's Esports was yesterday, right? Because they seemed a little subdued. They seemed like they really weren't all themselves. But today was the day where they rose right back up to the top. Not only do they get the placement points, but also raging to the top with the amount of kills. 18 kills to their side, 10 from the placement points, 28 points overall. These guys are insane with their plays. And this is just the start to perhaps what can be the solid comeback for Vagabond's Esports within semifinals 2 itself. And this was the highlighted team earlier on. Easy Reborn Esports Magna. We talked about how they have done badly yesterday, but they showed us a lot of potential. And maybe day two will be the day where some of these teams rise up to the occasion. And Easy Reborn is living up to that expectation and helping us continuously build a solid storyline out there. They have got a total of 9 kills to their side, as well as 6 kills from their placement points. NRX 420 bagging the 3rd spot, but not too aggressive this time round. Surprisingly, Neptune, only a total of 4 kills to their side.
Yeah, I mean it's a mix, probably the mix of Peanut being added in this play and this team that have removed the momentum from yesterday. But we'll have to see. This is just round number 1, and we've seen how well NRX 420 moved from a loss in round number 1, 2, 3, even 4, and then move high on the final stretch. And we'll have to find out is if that is still the plan of NRX 420, or will it be this time as we jump into the next round. But in here on number 4, AJ, we have TNC, and they have only 1 kill, but a good job in getting a good position. TNC from team number 12, they have been they are not really doing that much in terms of performance, but prioritizing the placement first before getting the kills would be a smart move from them. And I think that's a scene that can be said for Easy Reborn, because they tried different tactics before they got to this point wherein they got number 2.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And NRX 420 is still managing to prove that they can hang with the best in terms of surviving all of that chaos out there on the battlefield. But if you cannot pull away those kill points like what Vagabond Snowmans and Vagabonds Esports have been able to do here for themselves, then failing to do so, you will pay a high price later on, because those placement points have been drastically reduced in the Garena Survivors, and just depending purely on those placements isn't going to really help you get the number 1 spot. Yes, it potentially can help you survive to the grand finals, but not really in a dominant fashion. But Vagabond Snowman's a highlight play here once again, Neptune, managing to bag for themselves a total of how many this? 19 kills in that 8th spot. Insane plays.
Yeah, I mean, 19 kills. We've seen them pop off early in the game, not really turning down any opportunity to go in for the kills, for the engagement. But I think it is their placement, as well as those teams who have prepared in the middle of the safe zone, that took advantage of the aggressiveness of Vagabonds Nomads. They have been pulled out in there into the open, being trapped as what we've seen from Easy Reborn. So hopefully they will not fall on the same trap as we've seen earlier, but still, it's good for them to get a lot of kills, making up for the placement.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And this was one of the Vagabonds Nomads plays out there as they came across Sigra Poseidon. Sigra Poseidon had a perfect opportunity to shut down Vagabonds Nomads right here and now, but there was a situation where Wagner, as the final player left alive, needed to depend on Tasan, because Tasan was already in there, needed to recover his armor. Tasan very carelessly continued to jump into that battle. And then later on, Biscuit makes that very terrible mistake of abandoning his vehicle when the vehicle still had enough to continue moving away to a safer spot. So overall, a little bit of a disappointing play there, but Vagabonds Nomads, they continued to bag every single kill that they could find towards the next zone as well.
Yeah, I mean, and that is what they make it up for. I mean, we've seen so far from day number 1 that they can gather a lot of kills compared to the brothers of Vagabonds Esports, who took it slowly, who took it calmly. And this time, this is a chance where I think they've already studied the pattern of the teams who they are going against, and this time they worked on that, prioritize on the placement or positioning, and then take the kills one after the other, thus taking the win on this game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, as the players were approaching the finisher of this round, it was, I believe, Blue who turned around towards the left and spotted the players of NRX 420, passed that information on back to Luki, who took the shots. And Kape was taken out very quickly just after Peanut was removed from the equation, and Luki will put that final bullet into the head of Dustin for Vagabonds Esports to make their strong comeback on day number 2. But is this going to be a consistent run for their team? I think so, because I think the King of Kings have got the consistency that we've always looked for, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the data in here from the qualifiers, they are one of the teams who went in qualifiers after. I mean, there are three set of qualifiers before stepping into semifinals. They are one of the teams who have been consistently on the 100 plus total for those placement and kills. Thus,
Mm.
they have been consistent enough. The show that we've seen yesterday from Vagabonds Esports, we assume that they are holding back. We assume that they are not really popping off just yet because they need a little bit more of information, data, strategy to be able to approach this in a aggressive manner. And this time, once all that is done, dusted, they pop up on day number 2 with number 1 on this round. That we have yet to see more. How will they be able to be consistent, knowing that a lot will be chasing that place?
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. A lot of people will be chasing for the number one spot, but how vigorously will they chase though, Neptune? Because at the end of the day, we do know that the prize pool for Battle Royale this time around is massive, man. We're talking about $500,000 pesos for that number one spot. We're talking about close to 45,000 ringgit for the number one spot. So it's a lot of money on the table to be played here for the teams of MYSG as well as Philippines. And where they really need to perform is not in the semifinals, but at the grand finals. At the semifinals, as long as you get the top 8 placement, you are good to go to cruise on into the grand final. So it just might seem like not the best of ideas for some of these teams to go out there and truly show exactly what would some of their tactics be to grab the victory at the end of the day, especially when it comes to their drop spots out there on the battlefield. But of course, that's a 50-50 assumption, right? Some of these teams might actually be out there really trying hard and getting getting whooped either way, man.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of teams who have prepared so far in their start of the show, the
Yeah.
drop points, and will be taken down early into the game. But those who are in here watching right now, hopefully you're enjoying the show because we have a few more gifts for you.
Yeah.
We have the rare wish crate right here on our screen that you can redeem, and make sure that you take the screenshot and redeem that during the break so that you will be able to get the prices the Garena has to offer for everyone right here.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for the likes and shares so far, but keep them coming, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The more the likes, the more the shares, the more some of our friends will join us on this broadcast as well and witness Battle Royale supremacy for Call of Duty Mobile. We're going to take a quick short break. When we come back, it's going to be round number 2.
Welcome back to the Garena Survivors semifinals 2, day number 2. And at your service in the caster desk, we are your casters and hosts for today. I'm Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia, and together with me is the amazing Mustachio AJ, here to bring you all the action to your screens right now. We've seen the rise of Vagabonds Esports from round number 1, and how long will they be able to do that, and how consistent will they be able to stay up top? That is a question, AJ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Yesterday, they did quite well for themselves. I mean, Vagabonds Esports, we're talking about their performance on Isolated when it came to grabbing those kills, grabbing those placement points. They were amazing. But
Yeah.
moving into Blackout, this is where Vagabonds Esports truly get challenged, Neptune. We saw them pull away a total of just 9 points from Blackout. And that's absolutely unacceptable if you're Vagabonds Esports. If this is going to be the way, if this is going to be the fashion, then very quickly the other teams will find a way to overtake them as well as whatever they've managed to grab in the first match in itself. Because although 28 points seems to be great, it's
Mhm.
it's still something that the other teams can still match up to very easily.
Yeah, I mean, and that is the same question that we have put out already on Four Kings. If you are doing only one good things on one map and
Mm,
doing different from the others, it
yeah.
will not really be consistent compared to
Yes.
what we've seen Vagabond Nomads so far.
Yep.
Yes, from the first round, they didn't get that much on the placement,
Hmm.
but on the kills department, they are still consistent, still
Yes.
bringing up the lead or the points that they can bring into the competition. So
Yeah.
if that will be the case for Vagabonds Esports, then they need to switch it up. But I think this is where they really turned it on, because
Mm,
isolated from when they jump in, they didn't
hmm.
show this kind of performance. So
Yep.
we are just excited to see if the same will go as they jump into Blackout.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And the consistency might just be broken, but if Vagabonds Esports can show us today that they can dominate Blackout as well, then we for sure can say that, the prediction or the assumption that we made yesterday that Vagabonds Esports are just here to chill on day number 1 and gather all of that data before going out there to strike really hard seems to be true, right? And Vagabonds Esports,
Yeah.
they've already struck once. Can they do it again? Because it's not just grabbing the win, Neptune, because yesterday,
Hmm.
Vagabonds Esports, they were quite subdued in terms of aggression out there on the battlefield. Today, not only did they grab that number 1 spot, but they had quite a solid number of kills on their side as well. And we had quite supreme teams in that final zone along there with them. Even NRX 420 alongside Kape as well as Peanut, they couldn't grab much from them. They got the pin sit down, pushed towards the side of the wall, and then got taken down pretty easily, I say. So Vagabonds Esports, they might just be back to their dominant ways.
Yeah, I mean, and that is what we are expecting for the teams, the current kings of Battle Royale in Call of Duty Mobile.
Yeah.
So a lot is put out in there on the table already on the assumptions as well as the analysis that we have based on the data. It's just up to the team to
Yeah.
really show us if that is the case, because whatever study we do right here in the background, whatever we put on paper, what they show, how they walk is really what matters.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And Almighty Prime, we saw a few highlight moments from them as well. And this is the map where they perform slightly better, right? At
Mhm.
Blackout, where they are able to play slightly better. But let's take a look at the leaderboards and see how has match number 1 of the day managed to shake things up. Vagabonds Nomads obviously still hold on to that number 1 spot. And because NRX 420 were able to grab those placement points alongside those 4 kills, they still do have a little bit of pressure on them. But as you can see, Vagabonds Esports very quickly now catching up with NRX 420 in the third placement. AMT Prime, although their performance was all right, it wasn't good enough. And they need to step things up before SDPH Generals not only catches up, but beats them in terms of the climb on the leaderboard. Cerulean Legion in that 6th spot with 48 points, and just 1 point below them will be the Royal Kings, followed by TNC Supremo with 44 points.
Yeah, SDPH hadn't had that much on that first round, though
Mm,
they are in there in top number 5. From what we've seen in the kill feed
mhm.
earlier, they have been taken down early into this game, so hopefully it will be a turnaround to them later. But one thing that I'm really happy to see is how Easy Reborn Magna has been moving up because
Yeah.
of how they are changing it up on this course
Yes.
as well as the placements that they are getting, thus moving up onto number 9. So if
Yeah.
they continue on, they might be another team that is similar to the MYSG, which is ABC Mystic, who
Yep.
slowly studied and learned the ways of war to find out how they were able to beat the best.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if someone needs to learn how to beat the best, it is NRX Efficients at 432, right down there at the bottom with 15 points so far to their name after 7 matches. One might say that they are struggling in the competition. The exact same can be said for TNC Empress, who hold on to that 15th spot with 16 points. Today's day number 2 of semifinals. Tomorrow will be the final day. We have got 6 rounds every single day. So with 1 round down, they still have 5 more opportunities. A lot can, of course, still change on the leaderboard. But if you can see the dominance up top in the number 1 spot versus the underperformance at the very bottom at the 16th place, when you can see the huge disparity in terms of firepower out there on the battlefield. So avoiding all of those big teams, understanding their drop spots and staying clear away from all of them is going to be extremely important. It's not just looking for an empty spot. It's looking for a spot far, far away from the dominant teams so that when they are going in for their rotations, you do not come across them, Neptune.
Yeah, as we say, the study has need to be put in play because that is how you pave your way into the final circle. If you will not be able to study the rotations of the other teams and apply that to your own, you might be getting into top teams or probably even not. Even those also part of the bottom half who have better positions, better advantage against you when it comes to play. I mean, the high ground or probably a surprise hit against you, knowing that they've studied your way, then they might be able to backstab you and take you
Yeah.
out early into the game. And I think that is what is happening for the side of NRX 432 that they need to fix and they need to work on as we jump in to blackout map right now from east to west right now all the way to hijack. We have the teams already spread out, and as we has pointed out, the drop spot is an important thing that they need to study and
Mm.
learn, AJ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And as you can see from the early spots in here, not many of those teams dropping by each other, but a very curious approach coming through from HE Phoenix as they split off into a buddy system with 2 of their players moving into Hydro Dam, but changing their minds at the very final moment and moving slightly further away. Now, that is just going to be the unfortunate play by them, because if the other players spotted them moving on out, picking up those weapons and going in for the chase isn't going to be too difficult. But as ADH will find the players of Cerulean, they manage to find a knock as well. But Aki needs to find those armor quite desperately. And even if he doesn't, he manages to fly and flap his back.
And we have KPH right now on a roll to be able to take down one of Cerulean, a Legion right here, and I think they are going in for the chase. They are not really backing off in here from this fight because they know they have the advantage. They know that the limited number of loots and weaponry they can get on that area is not that much, and they are chasing down Cerulean because they know that that is a disadvantage that Cerulean has. They have stayed in there on just below Lighthouse, and the battle is has been heated between these two teams. So I think that is the end point that they need to put into so that they will not be bothered anymore on the next drop spot.
NRX 432 very slowly looking for a better position for themselves. A couple of vehicles have been taken by them, 2 motorcycles as a matter of fact, to continuously help them manage the huge amount of space between compounds that Blackout offers. And also, the vehicles provide you with an opportunity to reposition yourself out there in the open fields without being an easy target, because like what we've already discussed through semifinals, one nephew, this map is truly the nest for those snipers.
Yeah, and as we see, we saw NRX 432, and this time we saw Sigrid Poseidon. So NRX 432 is one of those teams who has taken the Turbine as their first home, but because they have been losing the battle in the Turbine, they switched it on to Asylum. So this time Sigrid Poseidon will be taking this solo, and all those loots, all those buildings will just have everything for themselves. Now, going in on to Alpha 8, they are inside of HE Phoenix right now, how well will they be going for this battle? That is a question because they have the lower ground and they have been sighted right now, and I think the rush is on for them.
Let's see what this rush can bring out for them as Phoenix moves on through. It's going to be the Alpha 8 stalking them. Can they find Bird? Smoke bomb by Kamori, and he manages to find the backstab as well. Bird gets sprayed down, and that's going to be the first attack. Assassin right behind. Kamori repositions. Merc in front, and Merc, like the name that he lives up to, manages to find the takedown. But Apollo from the back finds Sucre. Burn taken down by Kamori, and the players right. Shut down player after player, and Phoenix quickly realized that they should not have gone in here for this setup against them. And Assassin, he quickly backs away now. He can still play for time and bring those dog tags back in, but he needs to be extremely careful. And NRX 432 might be able to help him out now, because here they come to pick up the pieces to shut down the Alpha Apes. Apollo has got the flank towards the left, so the players of NRX 432 need to be careful in here now.
And here comes Dan right now taking Solzov in play, and we'll have to see how well this group will be able to go against the Apes, because they need the points. They really need that much on the kills to be able to overtake anyone in there and bring themselves on the bottom. So there we have it. We have the Apes right now being pushed out of the way, and that doing a smart move, finding out on if they are near enough to be chased. And this is the chase that will be done by NRX 432 against Alpha Ape, thus giving a chance for HE Phoenix to pick up the dog tags that has been left behind.
And the dog tag there, it's better make a quick work of that, but also be very careful at the same time. The last thing you want is to get caught out by NRX 432 halfway, getting those dog tags there. Dragonborn C spot, shot out of the stopper. As you can see, they are moving in for an attack, and they are chasing yet another vehicle out there on the battlefield. Is being pursued now, ladies and gentlemen. We have to wait and see if Vagabond Sport shoots that chopper out of the air. Easy 4 kills, but we know they are on the hunt. It will be the players of Royal, the one and only Royal Pigs, who very quickly avoid that engagement, not wait to see exactly who's shooting at them, but get away from all of that trouble.
Yeah, I mean, Royal Pigs has avoided early engagement, moving in from hijack, as well as securing a chopper, early chopper for this team. How they rotate would be the question, because so far how they are moving has given them a chance to really take the placement and take number 7 spot. Now we'll have to find out how will they respond to the challenge that has been brought in by Backbones Esports, or will they be finding a different challenge from the other teams that they have, that they will be targeting right now. DNC, on the other hand, this is DNC Emperors, who needs to move as well, will be targeted in there with FHJ, but will be surviving, and they might be seen of SDPH just below them.
Let's see what they can find out of this as players of DNC. They're moving here for the attack. SDPH is going to be caught out now. Glory very quickly takes position towards that right-hand side building, joining Kai. Fate right beside him as well. SDPH in the vicinity, but Almighty, they have got the flank from the left and right. Will they wait, or will they immediately jump into all of this chaos? Nope, it doesn't seem like Almighty Prime wants anything to do with this situation. They quickly position themselves, reposition to hold the flanks from beyond, so that SDPH can finish off TNC, or the other way around. It doesn't matter. They want to prey on them as the third party.
And this airdrop right now will be the priority of Almighty Prime right now. And we have a TNC who will be backing off from the engagement or from the airdrop and will be saying bye-bye for now. SDPH will be stuck in this compound, just keeping it safe, not to fire against TNC or Almighty. Just to make sure that they will not be surprised in there from both sides, because they will be caught in the middle. On the other side, Calibe was able to go in and get that hit. How much more can DNC get? That is the question right now, but because the smoke has been popped off, we'll have to find out if this will push DNC for the other side.
Let's see how far it does manage to push them, as the players of SDPH now just manage to move on through the smoke. It will be DP right in front of them. Almighty Prime earlier on they repositions, but DNC have quickly backed away from this engagement, and Almighty Prime, even they bag nothing from that encounter. And at the end, everybody walks away from this situation happy, I guess, Neptune.
Yeah, you know, especially Almighty. I wouldn't say they didn't get nothing. They prioritized on the airdrop, got their loots in there, and just backed out. But for the kills, it's only SCPH who I think only have 1 kills, 1 casualty, and it's a good thing for the other teams because they will be able to prepare later, get the rotations right, as we'll have to see, well, how will they be able to go against. Now, Vagabond Esports right now is here trying to go against Secret Poseidon. How well will they be able to do it? The sign on the hands of Blue right now, but Yato in there will be taken down, or Yato was able to take down the Biscuit, and the rush is on as we know that 1 is already down. This is an advantage that they will be exploiting right here.
See how much they managed to pull away from this as Vagabond Esports find the first kill of the match right in front from Sigma Poseidon, but he is outside of the zone, so all they do is just wait. NRX 432 from the top, they spot out those players, but Vagabond Esports, they have got Blue to count on, who manages to back away from the rest of them, and he has got the angle to shut down the plays of NRX 432. Clyde realizes that instantaneously. Look at Luki up top now. He tries to take the backstab, and he gets that. Blue now from afar. It will be Clyde that gets taken down as well. Luki has done so much, and NRX 432, they are now in a position of death. They cannot run away. They are stuck at the side of this cliff, and Vagabond Esports, they move in to finish them off.
And here it comes, the 4 kills already for the side of Vagabond Esports. Joe will be taken down right now, and 1 was able to get away. And it's a good move in there by Loki, but Secret Poseidon is taking advantage of the damage that has been taken by Vagabond Esports. Nash with only a few HP remaining, will he be able to survive? Here comes Blue right now, pushing away. Yeah, 2 members of Secret Poseidon, giving chance for the rest of the team to recover and regroup, which is a smart move and an aggressive indeed. But I would say that will be a little bit risky.
But they will go ahead and take it. It's going to be the players of Vagabond Snowman now. Jumping on in for an engagement. It will be DNC that gets caught right in front of them, but a good engagement as they return fire. Vagabonds, they drop a player. Vagabonds Esports from the back. Alpha 8, they go on to attack. And Almighty Prime, they have got the perfect situation now to pull off this ambush and shut down Vagabond Snowmans. Look at them encircling this compound. They know what they want. Chase from up top. Hops on in. TB right in front. Oh my lord, but he uses the M21 instead. And luckily, Travis is there to save the team. Chase now with the backstab pulls out the Mac 10. The guy should have used that a little bit earlier on, but this is the opportunity for recovery. But Chase, he wastes that opportunity. Dre in front of him. Virus finds Dre, and Vagabond Snowman, they will be able to shut down the approaches of Almighty Prime. Almighty Prime wasting their perfect flank that they had at the start, Neptune.
And the knife right now is really questionable. I think it's more of a confusion. The weapons that needs to be used. This Chase is being chased right now and really needs to move fast. But no, there is no moving fast from the virus that we have from Vagabonds Nomads. 11 kills already, and in a few seconds, they will be all full squad with Swish coming into play. As we look in the map right now, it is moving up on the north of this map. We'll have to see how well will they be able to rotate from Rivertown to that area, AJ.
Oh, this is just a crazy circle that we have to travel to next because it's going to force a lot of those players to move across the body of that water, either by the bridge or swim through, which just gives the opportunity to so many other teams to gatekeep them. NRX 420, Boji down onto the ground. It is going to be the players from the side of Team K, the one and only TNC Empress, as they strike and they strike hard. NRX 420 unable to keep up with the pressure. Kai taking position up top on the roof. Kape right in front has not gotten spotted just yet, but Fate seems to have a little bit of information on him. The other players on the side of TNC, they will be guarding all of those dog tags, and Kape needs to make a play. Right outside of the zone now, he sits trying to throw off the players of TNC, but it does not seem like TNC Emperors will be falling for that space anytime soon. They know Kape needs to come in here to face his team.
They want to keep them from coming back. That is what they need. Vagabonds Nomads right now is back in play once again, and this time they will be going again. Yet another strong contender for them. SCPH, who is also part of the top 5, has worked their way up into the leaderboard. Esports and is now going in again. So one of the kings in here, and it is now left with only one member per se, AJ.
Let's see if or not Panot can continue his run in there as he manages to take Virus out of the equation. Vagabond Snowman is struggling a little bit against STPH. Traps right in front. He takes that out. Has got the smoke in front of him as well to loot up his opponent, and he quickly repositions. Good on him because the attack from KTH from the back is going to be pressuring the players of STPH now to quickly reposition, but Panot makes the mistake by overstaying his welcome. Travis on for the loot. Will be able to strike as well. He wants a little bit of revenge, but it is also going to be the players of Royal Kings now in action. Smokes pop all around. It is going to be the play of that smoke bomber, and the Royals reposition right behind the cliff to make sure they use Mother Nature as a little bit of backup and cover here, forcing Vagabonds Esports to approach them. But with the high ground, it is the advantage to the side of Vagabonds Neptune.
Vagabonds will be able to go and choose how to go in and hit them. And there goes Omega being taken out by Loki. And knowing how Loki is using the high ground to his advantage, to the team's advantage, we all know the Vagabonds Esports will be able to, or will be safe with that play. Oh, Nash right now is in there after the kill. Will be using a rewind to get away just to make sure he will not be backstabbed. And here comes a regroup as well as an airdrop to their side. So it's a win-win for Vagabonds Esports right here, just in this area.
HE Phoenix, there are players getting dropped one after the other outside of the zone. Vagabonds Nomads continue to hit and hit hard. Peanut, unfortunately, is down. I don't know if that's the zone or he made a mistake. Carpet manages to take that engagement against EZR as well. But Vagabonds Esports now managing to hit the airdrop, will be able to quickly reposition. One player right there beside them will not get spotted, and the guy escapes with his life. Vagabonds Esports, they continue to move on through, ignoring the presence of Royal Kings. Two players there, neither one making a single sound. But right in front of them, they do manage to spot out the players of the Empress. Yuki, with the initial shots, will find absolutely no one, but he gives away his position. But he takes all of that opportunity to remove the traps laid out outside of the compound. So later on, Vagabonds Esports can go on a strike if they want them to.
Yeah, and then this retreat by Vagabonds Esports right now might be the death of those who are hiding in this compound. But no, Loki just missed this opportunity to go in for the compound, and probably it's because he doesn't need anything for the loot, or probably they already know that someone will be waiting for them. The opportunity lost for both teams right there will be crucial, will be to their advantage, because Team N, who that will be Royal Kings, will be able to survive a chance to bring back their dog tags or their teammates right now. And Vagabonds is in here, will have to challenge a different team. Thus, they will not think about being distracted by any other team.
Vagabonds Esports yesterday, after 3 matches at Blackout, they could only pick up a total of 8 kills. But in this one game alone, they have managed to outdo their performance over 3 different games on Blackout yesterday. So that just means that Vagabonds Esports are right back in the competition, and they want to slay. Their performance has improved on day number 2 and improved tremendously if you compare it to what they were able to pull off yesterday, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, it answers the question as to if Vagabonds Esports are really holding back, and I think they are, because how they're performing right now is very, very different from what we've seen. They have been eliminated early. Placement really for Blackout alone is just 1 and 8 kills right there. So this time they have already outdone the whole 3 rounds, as what you mentioned, AJ, and this, I think they have more to offer us on this game. So we'll have to see. The high ground advantage is on them. They have good visibility of anyone surrounding them. How will they take advantage of that? That is the question.
And Vagabonds Nomads, this is how they strike hard whenever they are on TPP, but Blackouts just knock their map. Vagabonds Esports, as they try to outperform Vagabonds Nomads in here today, I think they are on the right track. Players of ENC Empress, as they move on slowly, they will come across Vagabonds Esports. Luki now breaking away towards the right-hand side. Blue alongside him, but Nash leading the charge. They want to catch out the Empress, but the Empress just too slick, too quick. And Sigra Poseidon instead will fall in front of them. Will TNC Empress be able to survive this onslaught, because the Alpha aims right in front. Fate brings out the M21. 1 player down. Solotov is going to be the next one. But Claudie right in front manages to knock Aki down out of the equation. Apollo gets taken out as well. And Fate just being the unfortunate fate of the Alpha 8.
This is a good comeback for the side of TNC Emperors because they have been lacking in terms of performance from day number one, and we've asked that from them. TNC Emperors really need to get a decent amount of kills, and yes, I would say it's already to that end. Oh, what a good spot right now, just under the water, when that is very difficult for some, but not for Fate. Does taking down the apes right there, and we'll have to see how more they improve all throughout the day. But so far, this is good. This is good for the Emperors, I think.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's seen the meme, hello, I'm under the water. But whereas he was under the water, he was absolutely not affected at all. In fact, he had this green cover. Wagner pops the smoke bomb to get away from the trap master Yato. And Claudia turns things around. Yato gets taken out. But Luki with the backstab to back up Yato. But it's a little bit too late. Yato out of the equation already. And here comes the attack from Nash. But Nash makes one mistake. Wagner bags him. And Wagner shuts down Nash. But Blue with the backstab. And Vagabonds Esports with a back-to-back victory.
Back to back from Vagabonds Esports. We couldn't ask for more from this team. And yes, they are coming back right now. And they are coming back with flair, AJ. When we thought there is just kills, but no, it is wins, AJ.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about their performance on Blackout. Yesterday, they only managed to get 8 points. 8 kills overall from 3 different Blackout matches. Today, they outperformed themselves on the kills, like you said, Neptune. And also, with the placements, out of the 3 matches they took yesterday, they only had 1 placement point, bro. Just with this one game, the first match on Blackout, Vagabonds Esports have already outdone their full performance yesterday. So the theory that they were holding back most definitely checks out well here. 19 kills, Vagabonds Esports. They strike back in the #1 spot. Earlier on, it was 28 points. Mustachio, you said 28 was too little. 29, take that. Is it enough? Yes, sir. It is enough, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it's we've already started the show from day number 1 of everything that we've calculated. The number of points that has been gathered by Vagabonds Esports. It's close to an average of 20 to 23. That didn't show yesterday. That didn't really. That was a disappointing show for the scores yesterday. But this time, this is where they're popping off, securing that number that we have set in play for them, not going down 20. So hopefully this will go on as a day goes by, because after this, TPP is gone, AJ. For the next 2 rounds, we'll be switching to FPP. So a lot of changes will be done by the team.
Absolutely, sir. Now, a lot of people are complaining, why do we get the Vagabonds Esports perspective? You need to see who's raging in the competition. A lot of players are complaining, a lot of viewers are complaining, why do we only get to see the perspective of Vagabonds all the time? Look at the number of kills Vagabonds Esports as well as Vagabonds Nomads have been able to pull away in here, man. Vagabonds Nomads, although they do not finish off in the top 3, they grab the #5 spot, but they rage on with the number of kills that they have taken. 17 kills overall. But shout out to KPH as well, because they managed to really put a little bit of traction out there. KPH Wicked, they have been struggling just a little bit in the competition, and we expected them to rise up just like EZ Reborn, and they do exactly that. 12 kills in that 4th position for them. We saw the Alpha Apes, and these are all of the teams that we were talking about earlier on Neptune that did not really do well on day #1, and they're really living up to the hype that we've helped them build. But NRX 420, on the other hand, I expected the presence of Peanut to just get them to soar right up in terms of pressure, in terms of gameplay. But we haven't seen that just yet, Peanut, and I'm still waiting for those crazy plays.
Yeah, I mean, Gracie plays has yet to be shown in here, but how heated it is with the other teams who have in there. And just to follow up on your answer, AJ, as to why we have Vagabonds are being shown, not just because of the kills, but let me ask you guys, would you like us to shoutcast anyone just slide jumping in there and looting and not getting kills, AJ? I mean, that is my question. Would you like us to shoutcast anyone who doesn't have any enemies, but just shoutcast him because you're a fan of them?
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, and we are not spectating Vagabonds Esports looting. We are spectating Vagabonds Esports as well as Vagabonds Nomads absolutely annihilating the competition out there on the battlefield. And they have got their structure to them, man. They spot a player, they're continuously attacking. They spot players from afar, they're continuously on the pursuit. So there's always back-to-back action whenever you look at it from the perspective of Vagabonds Esports. I mean, they both of the teams of Vagabonds managed to bag so much for themselves. Not just the Vagabonds Esports squad. Alongside them, Vagabonds Nomads, as they got caught in a couple of gunfights earlier on, this was the position where I was a little bit disappointed with Almighty Prime because they had the best opportunity to remove Nomads from the equation. But that one mistake of pulling out the M21 instead of the MAC-10 was the biggest difference maker of whether or not Almighty Prime walked away from that situation. But the fate that TNC Fate brought on upon the Alpha Apes with his positioning under the water was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, there's no gargling in there for Fate. I mean, he will be smiling in there under the water. And also the backup from Claudie from the other side. That is a good pinch from them, knowing that there's only two members from a TNC. So how they improve already day after day is what we want to see. And the same thing as to the other teams who we are challenging to improve day after day, studying the movement of all the teams as well as their own to be able to show us that they have what it takes to go into the top 8.
Yeah, absolutely, man. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't forget to hit that like, please. Please hit that like and share the stream out as well, regardless of which platform you're watching it from. Please share the stream out on Facebook and, call all of your friends. Ask them to join us to watch the supremacy of these teams, the supremacy of these players on that Battle Royale lobby, man. It is high time that we rise the community of Battle Royale for Call of Duty Mobile right up once again. We are back in here to focus on the community for Battle Royale, and it looks like the pro teams out there are stepping it up as well. Now it's only in your hands to help us grow even bigger, and that is through your likes as well as shares. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thanks to all of you and all of your views and all of your likes and all of your shares, we have managed to hit the first viewership milestone of the day already, Neptune, just in round number 2.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what we like about this community. And
Yeah.
despite of all the drama that has been said already, if they put in all together, we can achieve a lot. And this is one
Yeah.
of the achievement that we are getting for this show. A chance for us to really build up the Battle Royale community. Thus, your support is in there. And as a reward, we have here a code for the freelo frame right now because of that milestone that we just hit. So the more shares we have as AG ask you, as we are asking you, the more we'll be able to hit milestone and more rewards for all of you guys.
And we are not kidding when we say more rewards. It's not just the freelo frame that you get, but the rare wish crate as well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You guys are absolutely fantastic. You guys have been amazing in the comment section. I mean, keep the fire going. Keep the support for the teams that you support out there blazing through the comment section all the way until the end of the show. We truly appreciate all of those comments and we enjoy reading your thoughts as well. So keep them coming in here. I'm pretty sure those players are looking out for your comments as well. So more than the hate, make sure you send the team that you're supporting a little bit of love so that they get that extra boost in confidence. All right, we're going to take a quick short break. When we come back, it's going to be round number 3 and we change the perspective a little bit to FPP. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Garena Survivors, brought to you by Call of Duty Mobile. My name's AJ. I'm the mustachio down here with the one and only best analyst for the BR scene, Neptune, the gentleman Garcia, bringing you guys all of the action from the day. And just when you thought the king of kings of Call of Duty Mobile Battle Royale for Garena are taking a solid break, nope, they make a solid comeback. And I believe with their performance alone in the first two matches, they've managed to slip into the second spot, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, it is an increase of kills that has been taken in there, as well as the two wins already from
Yeah.
their side, thus increasing their chance to go in. Actually, not just a chance; they already, I think, for the calculation that we have, has already slipped in there
Yeah.
past NRX 420 and just in there to be able to catch up on Vagabond's Nomad. So, how well will they be able to do it moving forward? Same as what we've seen from round number 1 and 2. That
Yeah.
is one of the questions that we have in mind, and I don't think, AJ, that they will be holding back anymore.
No, no, man. I mean, there's no reason for them to hold back at all. And with that victory that they just have taken for themselves, that is the third win. And that's the most number of wins that any team within the semifinals to have managed to grab for themselves so far. And they hold that over NRX 420 as well as Vagabonds Nomads, who have got 2 wins apiece. And with that victory, just like you said, Neptune, they push NRX 420 down to the third spot. But we are preparing the leaderboards for you guys. So it will be shown to you in a little bit, but just a little bit of a preview because the performance from the side of Vagabonds Esports is just phenomenal, man. After yesterday, not really going out there, not really stepping it out at all, not really stepping it up at all. Today, they are just on a breakout run, bagging the first 2 wins back to back in such phenomenal fashion, man. Getting 28 points in the first game and then 29 points in that second matchup. The consistency is quite glaring, Neptune.
Yeah, and this is what we expect to see from Vagabonds Esports. And later
Yeah.
on, we'll see how much they will have in here as the leaderboards are being shown. And there you have it, guys. Stepping into number 2, right next to Vagabonds Nomads, who have been consistent as well, is Vagabonds Esports with 108. The second team who will be able to hit that 100 mark. And it's not that much, AJ, from the side of from the distance against NRX 420, despite of how NRX 420 is performing for the past 2 rounds.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. And NRX 420, the past 2 rounds, like I said, I expected with the presence of Peanut right back in the mix for them to just soar to the top with their dominance out there on the battlefield. But there's no dominance. There's no consistency with the placements. There's no kills being shown out there on the battlefield. But do not underestimate their capability just yet, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because we saw a similar story from the side of NRX 420 yesterday. In the first 4 matches, they barely showed up. And then the final 2 matches, boom, in your face, NRX 420 were right up there, just like how Vagabonds Esports are making their comeback in here today. So a lot of opportunities still available out there on the battlefield as we have got 4 more matches ahead of us. Almighty Prime, speaking of 4, are in the 4th spot with 66 points and 1 point right below them. SDPH Generals still hot on their heels. Followed by Cerulean Legion, KPH Wicked, as well as Royal Kings. This wraps up your top 8 who are the favorites to make it into the grand finals. But as you can see, the number of points between Cerulean Legion, who are in that 6th placement, all the way down to even the 13th spot, Segra Poseidon. Things can definitely change around in here if any one of these teams manage to secure on average 10 to 15 points with their next match.
Yeah, definitely, and it's quite nice to see some of the teams who are moving up early onto the leaderboards, as we can see right now, especially for the sites of KBH Wicked. How low they started off from day number 1, and how they are working their way up, as well as similar as Royal Kings right now. But one thing is, I want to ask, is NRX efficient 432? Because we have mentioned a lot of expectation from the brand itself, and NRX 432 still needs to put in a little bit into play for the remaining 4 rounds to really show that the NRX brand is not just focusing on like not just seeing one team perform, but all of them. AJ, remember that we have VVV, 3 teams from one brand. So that is
Mhm.
what we want to see from NRX as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, if we can see that from NRX soon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, of course, the whole fan base will be really proud of them. But at the moment, the only dominant one out there, or supremely dominant one out there, is the NRX 420 squad. But regardless of how dominant they are out there on the battlefield, if they cannot show us that consistency, then it looks like they will be struggling at the grand finals. But let's allow them to run the course of the competition. This is only match number 3, but with a huge thrown in front of the players. Instead of TPP that they are all used to, we throw them into a FPP matchup. And looking at how the players of NRX 420 have coped with this change, it doesn't seem to have affected them at all in terms of placement as well as skills. They do manage to grab, quite similar to what they can from TPP. But that's not entirely a good thing, Neptune, because they're not doing great at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I would say is like performing better against the other teams in terms of placement in FPP mode.
Yeah.
But with the kills, it's I would say not that much compared to those who are already on top and moving up on to the leaderboards. Imagine they only have when we look at it on FPP mode, 24 kills in total, but Vagabond's Nomads has 31 in total. So that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
But on the other side, on the flip side, they have a good placement point. And NRX 420 has a good placement point compared to Vagabond's Nomad. And that is one thing that NRX 420 needs to exploit against these teams who are struggling on the FPP mode.
Oh, yes, sir. I absolutely agree with you, man. And great point brought up. They have got the most placement points in comparison to the rest of the teams in FPP so far. And that's one of the things that the NRX 420 squad can be happy with. Of course, they are in the 3rd spot, so people might be scratching their heads and wondering, like, what are you talking about, Mustachio? Why is it not enough? Because it's NRX 420, man. You need to see more dominance. You need to see more consistency out of the squad. That is the expectation of such hang it with the best as he shuts down Claude. He quickly hops on behind that bump, and he will be able to hunt for the other players. But Fate quickly slides on out, catches him halfway through, but Hangin returns fire. Cannot jump into the window just yet, but does manage to hang with the best. Kai now returning fire from up top. Royals moving on for the chase, but he finds 2 players. Has got the Chigom in hand, but will not be able to find an accurate shot on Kai just yet. Switches out to the M4 and bags out Kai, and that's the way the Royals turn things around.
The Royal Kings are really duking the challenge of TNCs in this area. I mean, that is TNC Supremo that has been challenging. Oh, sorry, that was a TNC. Sorry, I lost track, but that one of the TNCs, AJ, that challenges the Royal Kings, and every time another team stepped up into the Newtown area, they are popping it off. That is why they are the drop spot are important, because if you cannot defend your own drop points, if you cannot go for the early engagement, understanding how to go for the rotation as well as anticipate the escape of the enemy at that point, how can you move forward on the other parts of the game?
Right, absolutely, man. I mean, you got to be careful with all of your approaches in here, and the very early chat drop spot just didn't prove to be the best for the TNC squad. The Royals were the ones who managed to get the best out of that situation, but I also feel like TNC could have been a little bit more patient with their approach, focus on their loot stress, and disengage from the battle a little bit earlier on. But obviously, that's something that they need to learn after losing a couple of those rounds in that manifest. KDH, on the other hand, this is going to be the one and only Wickham squad on the way as they are hunting for the chip terminal upgrade. Later on, perhaps a few of those bodies of their opponents as well for build. KDH Wicked, if there's one thing we know about this team, it is that they need more points out there on the leaderboard. I mean, at the moment, they sit down in the 7th spot. Not too bad, but they need a little bit more, because like what we discussed earlier on, it will be very easy for the players, even up to the 12th position out there, to catch up with them.
Yeah, especially with the lead that they have against those below them. I will still commend this team coming in from 12th place from round number 1. After ending round number 1, they were able to step into 7th place. They were able to adjust the gameplay that they need
this, at the end of the day, easier said than done. As the players go out there to execute all of the other players, it is going to be the almighty Prime squad who looks for a better round this time round. Easy Reborn just towards their right-hand side. They spot the vehicle out. Almighty Prime. Wild shots, but they're not going to stop by to check them out just yet. They have got their classes upgraded already, and I believe the next point of contention will be those airdrops that have just moved on into the match for the contention.
And as we look at Backbone's Nomads right now, oh, going in onto battle. This is a dogfight right now with these two choppers. And I think it is KPH who might be. No, I think it's Almighty. They are on smoke right now, and it's still being chased. And there goes the jump right now by both teams. This and up is a matter of waiting. There's no lucky for the hit. And the GP takes down the down. 2 down for waiting inside of KPH. And 2 as well for Almighty.
Yeah, Chase as well as Chibi. They need to defend against Devscally, and so high. Devscally manages to recover a little bit of his armor, and that's what you want to be looking out for out there in the battlefield. Open grounds, play all of your tacticals, rule the smoke out for the use, give yourself a little bit of extra cover. But it looks like Easy Reborn will not allow Almighty Prime to recover from this situation. All of their players can move on in as the third party to catch them all out. It is gonna be Chibi who gets taken down by the Hades. Easy Reborn with the quick hit, and they do not capitalize all that too much because KPH has managed to hide themselves just beyond this cliff here, and they're staying out of sight. And the players of Easy Reborn aren't moving out too far to hunt.
And it's probably the loss of vehicles or probably utilities like a snowboard in there to go in for the chase. Also, they are tactical. As we mentioned, there are some chances wherein they have the opportunity but will not be able to take it. Thus, they are on the way to get a lot more of a placement point. But we'll have to see how well will they be able to do that to capitalize on some damaged teams already out there, being some members with only a few being left. And as we go into the next stage, it will be shown we are still inside of Secret Cycle on the top side. And we have Easy Reborn right now on the bottom side, and Nix in here taking out High Bay and eliminating them from this mix. It is now Elixir's right now on the side of Easy Reborn.
Shut down one player after the other. It'll be Easy Reborn that manages to take control of the situation. Dustin now, Devscally right in front of him, but Dev moves on and he panics as he tries to get away, but Devscally himself gets back out. It is the backup by Jaeger. 7 HP left, needs to recover that armor. So high right in front of him. Jaeger does well to recover that armor. Repositions, and Aki can take that backstab, but off screen, Megabots Esports raging on as well as they take on Sigma Poseidon. The battles back to back out there on the battlefield, Neptune, and we aren't even at the final zone just yet.
Yeah, we're just under the second phase right now, and Vagabonds Esports being chased by Vagabonds Nomads, and knowing Vagabonds Nomads would swish right now on the snowboard, he will not be letting go. The rest of the teams will be following, and the split of Vagabonds Esports might be to their failure because Loki will be going in a 1v1, and there will be very difficult to go in for the chase. But there goes Swish right now for the hit, but Loki just jumping around and falling all the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. What an ollie by it to Luki, but Swish does not want to pause. But look at Luki. Luki is pulling Swish straight into an ambush by TNC. And all the players of TNC Supremo need to do is just wait by and shut them down. Luki, ninja skill. One used up already, but he has got the chip upgraded, which means he has a few more pumps in there. Swish steps on in, and Vagabonds Nomads now shutting down the players of TNC one after the other. And just when you thought TNC had the supreme positioning, Vagabonds Nomads quickly put them right back out into the lobby for plays.
And how well they were able to switch that up. Vagabonds Nomads right now, just switching targets after targets, going in compounds and eliminating them, putting them 5 already on the kills, and there's no slowing them down. There's still 4-man on this team, but the rest of the teams of who are surrounding them have already backed off. So how well will they be going against Vagabonds Nomads? I don't think they will be doing that much unless they prove it on the battlefield. But as a result of what we've seen, AJ, we have the leaderboards right now on the left-hand side of the screen as a review for the top 10 that we had from after round number 2.
Yeah, this is just an insane statistic picked up by all of these players from Group B, man. And Vagabond Snowman's hitting 151 points already, and we're still in day number 2, ladies and gentlemen, boys. Let's talk a little bit about progression. And the Vagabonds clan overall finding the number 1 spot. But NRX 420, as we see them on screen right now, if anything they can do, they want to turn things around. But NRX 432, the little brothers, the challenge from up top. They've got the vantage point on this hill, and as they try to take their shots, they will also back away at the same time. They are not taking any chances out there at all. But Boji with the left-hand flank, trying to find the backstep on the players of NRX 432, manages to back away as well before he gets too far away from the rest of his team members. And NRX 432 will not continue engaging, but they will go ahead to look for a better defensive position for themselves, because up on top of that hill, just a little bit too open here. Easy backstab by another team that third parties the situation could have caught them off guard. And it's good to see NRX 432 be a little cautious about things like that, nephew.
Yeah, I think it's a placement that they have already in the leaderboard that brings them a little bit of fear and a cautiousness to be able to pull away from any gunfight. Does I mean, I would say it is a missed opportunity, but if it's not, if it's NRX 420, that is a good chance for them to really get away, because we know how NRX 420 are on a chase for a number 1 spot. A chase for them to prove that they are the kings of Battle Royale. But that have yet to be seen as we move towards the end of the grand finals. But this time, this is just round number 3, and the Vagabond Nomads are still showing up in this game.
See how much. And Vagabond Nomads and Sean backstab. It's a 2v1, and Sean had no chance there at all. Yato will be able to catch Ati as well, as the Vagabonds Nomads continue to shut down players after players. But they will have to come across Vagabonds Esports themselves in a little bit. As Vagabonds Esports, they themselves continue hunting on the most spot players of NRX 432, going up against the one and only Alpha Ape. Sage has got a great position here. Right down that, but that repositions. He moves away from all of that engagement. Glide finds solo top, and the Apes lose their first player, making this a 3v3. Sage out of the that will go ahead to strike again. Komori has an opportunity here as one of the players from NRX 432 gets caught in his trap, but he does not take advantage of that situation at all. Glide with so little armor left on himself has managed to avoid Komori, but straight in front of Komori now, he steps on out, but Komori runs away through the house, right out the window, recovers his armor as well. Great plays by both squads, but Komori is running out of time as he gets hunted down. But Komori now resets, rewind, 2v1, Glide! He almost got that dude.
There's no getting away from 2-person, and FPV, it's really exciting to see 2 going against you and really jumping out of the window. And I feel what AP is feeling at that moment. But there you have it, guys. NRX 4-3-2 right now, getting 4 kills in this game against the Alpha Ape. And Alpha Ape did put up a good fight right there, but it's not enough against NRX 432, who is hungry to get these points, hungry to move up to the leaderboards and get away from that 16th spot.
Oh yeah, absolutely, sir. They are extremely hungry out there. And NRX 432, they were in a prime position to get taken down earlier on, but it was a great tactical response that those players took, continuously moving on for the hunt and sticking together as a squad, playing that buddy system so they are able to back each other up. And that proved to be the winning solution for NRX 432 in the previous engagement. Vagabond Nomads, on the other hand, they find a couple of players from the Phoenix who quickly maneuver around away from them using those vehicles. But Vagabond Nomads, they head on straight towards their old brothers, Vagabonds Esports. And this is the kind of engagement that I've been waiting for a while now. The 2 Vagabond squads, what will happen when they clash against each other 4v4?
Yeah, we have an opportunity to see that right now. We have Vagabond Nomads in high ground, and the shot is on. Swish right now will be hit from below, and Ezra right now will go in for follow-up from the other side. The smoke will be released by Vagabond Esports and the back out by Vagabond Nomads right now, but there's no backing out that much because the safe zone will be coming in, so gatekeeping will be done by Vagabond Esports right now as they jump in into the hit, and Blue will be taken down by Merc, and Swish will be following it up.
And Merc now out of the equation. Amazing stuff out of Swiss. And now Boji off screen. DNC Paquito gets dropped down onto the ground as well. Vagabonds Nomads as they move on in to shut down Vagabonds Esports. The repositioning by Vagabonds Esports just a little too quick to deal with. Phoenix right from the back, and Vagabonds Nomads needs to be really careful now. Do they move on for the chase, or do they hang back and wait for all of this chaos to die down? Vagabonds Esports on the other hand, they do not pause, they do not wait. They move on straight for the shutdown. It will be the players of PNC Supremo right in front of them with the snowboards, but Nash, as he tries to reposition himself into the safe zone, he hanged out there a little bit too long. Yuki as well as Yato in front of them. They now deal with Team N, the one and only Royal King. Team after team, Vagabonds Esports walk through, not getting shut down just yet, Neptune.
Yeah, not yet, but will be taken down in there one at a time. Luki is only remaining on the roof, and Swish is trying to shoot him down. A very difficult position for the side of Vagabonds Esports, but they remain strong right now. Knowing Luki, how he goes in for the position as well as the rotation, but Royal Kings are just waiting for him to drop by. So we'll have to see how well will that work right now as Vagabonds Nomads get to a good position, because that will be a little bit crowded on that other side.
Virus, unfortunately, is having a little bit of a disconnection issue. Merc out of the equation already. Somebody got back into the play. Assassin, Odin from afar, and Assassin realizes the mid-range combat ability of the Odin is not going to help him get that player and put him back into the lobby, and therefore he repositions, moves across the bridge, because there's just nothing to play out here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And if they hang around and overstay their welcome, taking Phoenix out of the bridge will get a little bit too easy from KPH Wicked, who you see moving on from the back. The zone pushing them in as well. So Dabscali needs to be really careful here. Assassin keeping an eye on his back. That Odin is not going to be affecting him just yet, not being brought into play. GB shuts down Del's duty from the side of Royal. Here comes yet another engagement. And Esser, the third party from afar. Vagabonds Nomads, they've started the hunt once again, Neptune.
And the hunt is on. Vagabonds Nomads in there, but they lost Virus into the play. And here comes Chase right now. Oh, Swish backing out in there just because there is the gunshots already, as well as the safe zone. Puts him in a very difficult position. Thus, he needs to back out a little bit. And here comes the follow-up. Pierre will be taken out by Esser and slowly moving into the safe zone as well. Team G, this is HE Phoenix going towards them. Then we'll have to see how well will they be able to rotate Esser right now. We'll go for the backstab and outside of the zone. No stepping in. There goes Travis for the follow-up. Burn will be burnt in there alive.
Yeah, Travis, great play from him. Virus could not make it right back through as he disconnects from the matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, so Vagabonds Nomads needs to move on to as the trio switch. He's not phased by that at all. Caliber, it will be the backstab, and he is the Jack. Manages to get one. Sucre right in front of him. Estin for the backup as well, and Travis bags Sucre. Amazing plays by this duo, and they continue on in. The next challenge is going to be NRX 432.
They move on the side of this hill, but it will be difficult to really move up unless they are ninja or probably a pump, but they need to back out in there, because if they move forward, NRX 432 will be cutting their approach. But here we have it. We have NRX 432 on high ground already. We're just waiting for an enemy to rush in to the name of Vagabonds Nomads. But we also have NRX 420 on the other side. We will be meeting him as Walla will be taken down in there. There goes the knock against that, and that will be taking down Travis as well. Esser in there surviving with only a single of help.
It's going to be Swish as well as Sphinx from afar drops the cluster onto all of them. Swalla and Dad out of the equation. Sphinx, the one with the final say in this engagement. But Clyde very quickly now plays that smoke nephew. Can he recover this situation as he pulls all of those players back towards him? Kape shuts down Show from the equation. And that is the end of NRX 432. But NRX 420 is still in the mix here, nephew. Might have lost him. I do apologize. Not sure exactly who lost who, but it seems like those players finished things off, and Peanut, they bagged the victory. NRX 420 with the solid victory as it comes through, Neptune.
And there you have it, guys. The end of that great show, and NRX 420 taking that win from that game. And fortunate for us, I think I lost a little bit of voice in that show. So we'll have to find out what is the feedback of production right now. And apologies for the technical difficulties, but we are glad to see NRX 420 to take that win from that game, AJ. But
I'm
AJ,
just
I don't
trying to
think is
lip
not
read
hearing me.
exactly what Neptune is saying at the moment, but unfortunately, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, I have got no audio cue at all here. I cannot hear him. Unfortunately, we seem to be having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Neptune, if you can still hear me, brother, please give me a nod.
Yeah, so
It seems
there's
like he
a
can't.
little bit of this communication. I'm not hearing AJ, so AJ, do take it away.
Amazing plays by both teams, and NRX 420 finally managing to grab that victory earlier on. I do hope you guys can at least still hear me, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because the victory that they took, although chaotic at the very end, this is the consistency that we were looking from NRX 420 Neptune. But no worries, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I think I have lost the whole of production mainly because of what is going on with my computer. I'm having a little bit of a technical issue here. And I don't know if I'm the one who has lost production on Neptune. But either way, this is the GGWP. We will have to kick this into a break and try to recover the situation as quickly as possible. Neptune?
Yes,
Yes, I can hear you, buddy.
and all right, there you have it. Finally, AJ, I see your lips moving, but nothing is coming through. But there you have it, guys. We have this game already finished, and this is round number 3, and isolated in FPP mode. We're in
Hmm.
NRX 420 was able to take that win against those who have been showing early into the game, but has failed all
Yeah.
throughout by the end of that stretch.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And the dominance is not just in from the NRX 420 squad because as you can see here, NRX 432 manages to step it up as well in the third spot. Second place is taken by Vagabonds Esports, though, who very quickly slides between the two NRX squads. A total of 8 kills they pick up for themselves, whereas NRX 432 with the dominant 9 kills on the play for the third position. But Easy Reborn, they seem to continuously step up what they can bring out there on the battlefield, Neptune. All of them bagging a total of 11 kills in that fourth position.
Yeah, I know a lot has been seen already from Easy Reborn, how well they make their plays, how tactical they make their approach, and there's no question that they will continue this on. We mentioned how Great Study will be able to put them in a different level, probably not though so much in aggression, but Easy Reborn are putting it the homework, putting in the play, and then once they get in for a team versus team is will able to go and dominate a team against them. Thus, all the hard work that they've done off the games are paying out right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. And all of the hard work that they throw in there is not just from those teams, but, teams like HE Phoenix, the ones that we were expecting to step up their gameplay in the competition. Not only do they make a good fight for their placement this time around, albeit they don't manage to find more from that, but through the aggression out there on the battlefield, the kill points is what is going to help them remain alive in the battle to stand a chance to move on through to the grand finals. They bag a total of 12 kills for themselves in that sixth spot. Down here, you can see SDPH in that seventh place with a total of 1 kill for their side, and AMT Prime having a little bit of a lackluster performance this time around as they bag the 8th position alongside 5 kills. TNC, on the other hand, this is going to be team number 12, TNC Supremo. No kills to their side, no placement points as well. That's probably going to hurt them a little bit, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean they will hurt them to the point, or and it will be very difficult for them to catch up if it affects them that much. So
Yeah.
hopefully they will be able to regroup and think about what they did wrong. But to this case, for those in here at the bottom of this game is switching of FPP that might have affected them, especially for the side of Royal
Mhm.
Kings as well. They are in their number 11 spot, though they have a number of kills right now. It's not that much to really bring them to level or in they will be able to move up that much and secure their place from number 8 spot. So they
Yeah.
need to put in a little bit more of that pressure in this game for the other teams, as well as the study and execution of those
Oh yeah.
studies as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. And earlier on, we did see the players of Vagabonds Esports just replace NRX 420 in that second spot. It looks like the boys will be ripping that right back to their side instantaneously. But of course, the question is, was the dominance in terms of kills enough to set them apart from Vagabonds Esports, who were just right behind them? Probably not too much, but against Vagabonds Nomads, the catch-up gameplay is definitely going to be there, right, Neptune? But you can see Vagabonds Nomads,
Mhm.
although they do not manage to get the placement points for themselves in a supreme manner, they still maintain their dominance when it comes to the kills department. As you can see, even when we were so early on in this battle, even as we were nearing towards the end of the battle, Vagabonds Nomads with the supreme place earlier on, bagging tons of kills for themselves. I believe it was about, in this spot, about 16 kills or 15 kills to their side, which is quite a lot, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that is what we love about this. If in case they have been failing on the placement, at least they've invested already in the kills, and they can put it out. They can put that into play. The
Yeah.
aggressiveness is working for them, as well as knowing how to back out in case
Mm,
they are in a pinch. So that is
yeah.
the smart thing to do, because some of the teams are aggressive, but when it comes to going away from the fight, it makes it difficult for them. So
Mm.
they will be taken down early into the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. And if you aggress on a little bit too early, you're not gonna be the biggest winners of the day. But NRX 420, as they saw the final player of Vagabonds Esports trying to run away as quickly as possible, tried to bag that final kill point, but that was just not going to be possible as Luki had the snowboard on him, ability on point, and he managed to get away as quickly as he could. NRX 420, they do manage to grab this victory for themselves, which overall puts them at 3 wins now, solid in terms of performance. And we were just talking about how has Peanut not brought in that positive effect to the team just yet. It looks like he heard us, and he heard us quite clearly, because on this matchup, game number 3, this is their comeback. But how long can they remain at top flight here, Neptune? Because they cannot just grab one victory and then stay silent after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, or I hope that this is the point wherein they are moving up already into the game.
Yes.
Similar to how they popped off from yesterday. Yesterday, they got the win for the final two match.
Mhm.
So hopefully, they started off early this time for them to be able to catch up for those who are already on the top and getting a lot of points already. But we'll still have to see that, because contentions can be done, especially in the name of Vagabonds Esports, Vagabond Nomads. Almighty Prime will be in there, as well as SDPH. So
Yeah.
how is this no different than from NRX 420, because they are in there to really make sure that they will secure that top 8 place and not be pushed down by the others below them.
Yes, absolutely right. Because at the end of the day, your fight in the semifinals, you've only got one objective: not to show off, but just to qualify. And yes, you are going to have your top flight teams giving away a lot of their strategies up there, in the top 3 spots or top 4 spots. But all of the other teams who are struggling so far within the sixth, all the way down to the eighth position, who are trying to still continuously fight for the top 8, that's exactly what they're focusing on their own strengths. If it is not going to be those engagements, then placement points has to be their main objective, and they have to get the most out of it, right? Because you cannot make a mistake by engaging a little bit too early. As we know, in this competition at Garena Survivors, the format of the points have drastically been changed. Even if you grab the number 1 spot, all you do get is 10 points for placement, and the second place immediately drastically reduces, right? You've only got 6 points in that second spot, and only lesser from then on. So you really, really, really need to aggress on fourth. And the focus on kills is now more than it has ever been in the past for CODM VR.
Yeah, and I think the golden ratio has been skewed a little bit already,
Yes.
putting the focus more on the kills, but there's still a balance that they need to be put in
Yep.
place. But that is already for round number 3. We are here to go in onto round number 4 later on, but before that, AJ, I think you and I, as well as the teams, as well as the viewers, will be going in for a quick break. So hopefully you will still be there once we come back, because a lot more will be in store for you after the break. So see you later. Welcome back to the Garena Survivors semifinals 2, day number 2. We are at your service at the caster's desk. I am Neptune, the gentleman Garcia. Together with me is amazing Mustachio AJ, bringing you the story live to your screens. And apologies for the technical difficulties earlier. We know that it has been a very difficult part when miscommunication
Yep.
happened. And true enough, AJ, it happens in game, it happens in
Yes.
real life. So hopefully, those of you who are here in the comment section are communicating well as we've asked you so that there will not be any issues. But so far, AJ, that has been a win for NRX 420. The
Yep.
Kings of old has been popping in onto the road to be the new Kings. But how long will they be able to maintain it against Vagabonds Esports as well as Vagabonds Nomads? That is the question.
Absolutely, man. And this is not the end just yet. Even if you win semifinals too, it doesn't make you the king of Call of Duty Mobile BR just yet. You also need to achieve the victory at the grand finals. The finals will be played over 3 days, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yes, over 3 days. We have got days of play on the 9th, 10th, as well as the 11th. And over the 3 days of battle, just like what we have seen here so far at the semifinals, a lot of changes can happen out there on the leaderboard as teams perform in one round and then absolutely bomb out on the other. True supreme consistency is definitely required over the 18 rounds, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And consistency that we want to see from the scenes. But let's check out how it has changed already on the
Yep.
leaderboards as it being shown right now. Vagabonds
Oh,
Nomads still on the top with 167.
GG.
But Vagabonds Esports was able to overtake NRX 420 right there on a number 2 spot, or
Yeah.
still maintain the number 2 spot right now, but not too far is 115 points for NRX 420. So
Yeah.
it still remains as to who will be the most consistent team to be able to bag the number 1 on the semifinals too.
Yeah, earlier on NRX 420, they were 10 points behind Vagabonds Esports. And even with their victory, they still haven't managed to move above them, grab that number 2 spot. But what they have managed to do at least is cut that lead down by a little bit, right? And now instead of 10 points, we only have got 7 points between the two teams. Almighty Prime still sticking to that 4th position, not really moving on up the leaderboard. But as far as they're concerned, if they are nowhere near the bottom at the 8th or 9th position, that's exactly where they want to be. SDPH Generals with the consistency as they bring on their aggression out there on the battlefield alongside Almighty Prime. Both of these teams focusing on their gunfights, focusing on those skill points to remain relevant in the leaderboard. Easy Reborn Esports Magna. This was the team
Ooh.
that was nowhere on the left-hand side. And through consistency, we asked for the team to wake up yesterday, and they have risen up to the occasion today, Neptune. Easy Reborn Esports Magna sits down in the 6th spot. Look at the placement points. Solid. Even better than Almighty Prime. Even better than SGPH Generals. And they are very slowly building up on their firepower in terms of kills as well. And this is one more time what we talk about. If you know that your engagement capability is not as strong as the others, focus on those placement points. Easy Reborn Esports Magna, they are finally focusing on the right thing here and then get into the engagements in the final circles, of course, to stand the best chance to pick up those points for themselves. And they have been doing amazing in terms of improvement, Nephew.
Yeah, I mean, definitely amazing. Easy Reborn has been rebirthed right now as tactician of this game, moving in on those placement focus instead of the kills, as
Yeah.
well as HE Phoenix. They move in onto number 7, coming in from the 11th spot after ending round number 2. So a movement by the teams right now, especially on the bottom part of top 8, is very drastic, as well as very brings nervousness for the other teams who wants or who needs to catch up to be able to cross that mark. Royal Kings, on the other hand, is still remaining on number 8. They need to get as much as possible to make sure to bring themselves up and secure their point on their spot on
Mhm.
number 8, because we've seen how much it can be changed
Yeah.
all throughout the days, and this is just day number 2. We just ended 3 matches
Mhm.
of a round, or 3 rounds of battle, and a lot more might change in here. So if they
Yes.
don't move up, they might be kicked down.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And you really have to be careful with your approaches in here. But as we Get on into Blackout, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The flight path heading straight down towards the left-hand side will pass through array as well as firing range, opening up quite a big portion of this map, even up to the segments of Turbine Asylum as well as Hydro Dam. They are still going to be accessible at Blackout, and a multiple availability of the choppers out there on the battlefield will surely make some of those spots a high-tier loot zone. In terms of firing range, we do see one player from the Vagabonds Nomad squad heading on straight for a pickup of that chopper, and then, of course, he will be gathering up together with the rest of his squad later on. But apart from, the odd one-player split that isn't all that too odd now that I think about it, it is nice to see that every single squad out there have managed to find their own drop spot. No early engagements on Blackout this time around, and I feel like the players in semifinals 2 are putting on a great example for those in semifinals 1 who just could not stop engaging so early on, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, at some point it will be beneficial if they will be able to bag the kills, eliminate the team. But if it's not working that well, as what we pointed out from semifinals 1, wherein yes, you are going back and forth as to scoring who is taking a drop spot, but it is not moving them really under the leaderboard. So it's just a disappointment to see those things putting a lot of effort to something that will not really put anything onto play to be the top 8.
Yeah, and let's see if or not all of the avoidance of engagement here for some of these teams can result in better placements later on, because very early on some of these teams, they struggle with their engagement because they haven't just fully looted up just yet. They just drop in there, barely have any guns on them, barely have any ammo, and they're thrown into some gunfights, which usually makes it very tough for them to move on up. We've seen many a times that happen to teams like TNC Empress, NRX432, even Sigra Poseidon. But of course, this is gonna be that matchup where we do not see any of those unfortunate circumstances. But First Blood still has been brought into the matchup, but no squad eliminations just yet. I'm quite curious as to how that one guy went down.
Yeah, and also I'm still surprised as to why 18 Phoenix is moving up north just above Hydro Dam, where there's not much of a compound. So I think their movement down south, hopefully it will be to their advantage, because they have a good position already on the leaderboard. They might be going in against one of the teams who have taken Hydro Dam already, and with that, not that much onto their backpack, they might be losing those engagements. So hopefully they are approaching it a little bit tactically compared to what we are assuming. But AJ, we are on Blackout, we are on FPP, and most of the teams are really taking it slow, or is really changing it to a slow pace right now. So they are cautious as not to be caught off guard because of the limited visibility that this has to offer, as well as I've seen a little bit of comment wherein some of the fans of the Battle Royale scene are getting dizzy because they're not used to the FPP mode in Battle Royale.
I mean, if the fans are getting dizzy, can you imagine the players out there on the battlefield? I mean, playing FPP on BR on a mobile phone, it has got its challenging moments as well, but you have to you have to get used to those situations. You have to get used to that perspective if you want to be the royal team in this competition, because you will be tested both on TPP as well as FPP, and no excuses whatsoever will be accepted. And the moment you try to give those excuses, teams like the Four Kings will just bag you out, man. And that's exactly what makes the Four Kings so dangerous out there. They have gone in and focused on the mode where all of the other teams are struggling on, and therefore they bag the most out of that mode. I mean, the Four Kings are really solid when it comes to not only Blackout, and especially with the FPP plays on both maps.
Yeah, I mean, it increases their chance. It changes their the ratio as to where how much they will be able to bag the win. And also, I love the FPP really on Battle Royale because of how realistic it looks when you're going into battle. But speaking of battle, we have TNC right now going against SDPH, where SDPH has a good spot on the leaderboard. How will this affect their movement for this round?
And as they look for all of those kill points out there, it will be the players of TNC. But potentially with the opportunity now. DNC Empress, SDPH right there in front of them. But they have to be careful because SDPH, as they has proven in here in the competition so far, they love those engagements and they will very quickly make use of you to climb up the leaderboard. They have been quite dangerous out there on the battlefield, and they now want to snatch away the 4th position from the players of AMT Prime as well. But will TNC Supremo be able to hold them back and also turn things around on them? It doesn't seem like they have got the best of positionings out there, but with one of the dog tags out of SDPH on their side, it seems like they have got the advantage, and all they need to do is just wait for SDPH to make that approach, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, thinking of SDPH, looking at the data that they have, when it comes to Blackout, they have a good number of kills, decent amount of, not really decent. I mean, it's even higher from most of the half. So Blackout, they have 32 kills in total after all the rounds that we've seen. On FPP, they have 30 kills in total. So I would say this is one of the best teams that we have on FPP mode. So putting that together puts TNC Emperors in a difficult spot if they don't go in cautiously and just rush in. But for those who are in here who are so good in rushing in, like Backbuns Nomads, there's no stopping them even with that FHJ because they are in here for the objectives, and the objective is the airdrop.
But the FHJ will definitely put them out into the open ground that they perhaps did not expect to be playing earlier on. But the airdrop will give them that heavy firepower that they desperately require before any of the other teams approach the situation. But who else to approach other than Vagabonds Esports themselves? As you can see, it will be Yato as well as Blue ever so slowly moving in towards their position, and it will be Easy Reborn as well. Sphinx inside of that chopper manages to hop on out at the very final second before the chopper went up in flames, and therefore he will survive. Players of DNC now. This is DNC Supremo in Team L have to manage 2 Supreme teams, AMT Prime alongside NRX 420 as well. I don't want to be DNC at the moment.
Yeah, being caught in there with the 2 of the greatest brands that we've seen so far in this game. Well, they need to play it a little bit cautiously. They need to back out in there if they can. But if, just in case they don't, then they have to wait for a few more minutes to get and jump back into the lobby to be able to fire back. But All Might right now is in here all alone with no one trying to contest them. But on the other side, Megaman and Nomad right now is battling it against Royal Kings. Royal Kings is making a killing.
Oh wow, Vagabonds Nomad. I didn't expect them to fall back to back like this, but Frost unfortunately turns around, leaves his back wide open, and Swish takes advantage. But hang in! Drops Esther as well as Swish, and Vagabonds Nomad. It looks like their time is up. Vagabonds Esports on the other hand, it's gonna be Nash with the setup now. One snowboard right in front of them. Nobody has spotted anyone out just yet, and they will be able to grab 1 kill off of a player of Royal. Vagabonds Nomads, interesting approach, but the full squad has not been eliminated just yet. Very clearly, those dog tags are still available out there on the battlefield, Neptune.
Yeah, it's a good escape from the Royal Kings right now, and I think it is a revive flight that will be able to save them. But going into Backbones Esports, they were able to get only 1 in there because of the initial kills that has been done by Vagabonds Nomads. Unfortunate for the Nomads, they have been taken out early into the game, so we'll have to find out how will this affect them, especially for those trying to chase them off the leaderboard. But with the points that we have from the leaderboard that we've seen, they're still safe. They will be able to get it. Oh, there goes a grenade. Destin was able to take down Davscali, and the backup is will be done. But where is that guy?
Yeah, exactly right. Where did that grenade come from, bro? It was like delivered from heavens straight onto the head of Davscali, and Davscali is just a little bit annoyed here. I mean, it couldn't be a grip mine that he stepped on. Really, a grenade was placed right on his head. Of course, we switch on over to the players of Sigma Poseidon as well as they engage with Team D. Almighty Prime. They come through with that almighty chase, but disengage the moment they find out they do not have the better position with this engagement. And Sigma Poseidon, that's what's going to be making them dangerous out there on the battlefield. But of course, all of the smarts in terms of repositioning has not been able to paint a clear picture for them in terms of dominance out there on the leaderboard just yet. They still do struggle with both their placements as well as skills. The placements more than the kills, I have to say, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, they really need to work on the placement just in case the kills is not working for them. It's not that much, but it will bring them to a different position wherein they would know how to approach each engagement and increase the chances of the kill. But this time, we have a Secret Poseidon right now. Weapon split up. We have Slick and Tassan in there just below Almighty. Getting a lot of information, but how the rest of the teams are going to approach this will be very difficult because a good position already sticking together is Almighty. And Slick will be sighted, will be taken down there by Dre, and there's no coming out of that, AJ.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it will be Chase that loots up that loot up, and it will be Dre that continues punishing all of the other players. Almighty Prime. As Almighty, they are out there on the battlefield. They want to continuously prove themselves by catching up to NRX 420. But as you can see, it's quite the way up, and about 30 plus points for them to play the game of catch up. And if anybody wants to catch up, they need to make Vagabond Nomads as their aim, because this is that runaway team. 167 points in that #1 position right now, just dominating semifinals to Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, like was pointed out earlier, regardless of them being taken down early, they might not be taken out of that #1 just yet. That is 45 points. So I haven't seen a team go in 45 points and jumping into FPP. It might not be that soon. So we'll have to see how much lead will be left behind after the end of this round, and how much more can Aquas Esports as well as NRX 420 will be able to bring to the table. But here comes Cerulean right now on Prime by trying to push his teammates into the way of fire of KPH. I don't know what is the plan right there, but I think that was a pickup gone wrong.
James, dog tag, out there in the battlefield. NRX 420 can foil this plan, this pickup, but with the vehicle, Flappy very quickly and stylishly pick up the dog tag of James to bring him right back into the mix. Two vehicles right in front of him. Flappy switches cars just for fun.
Just his color, those cars. I mean, it's a little bit boring without that color. So Flappy will be in there, but I think Flappy will still have another on him to be able to pick up yet another dog tag. As NX 420 is in here just waiting for that. This is one of the things that we usually see and hope a team will do. Hold gatekeeping those dog tags just to make sure to increase their chances of being able to lure them in. But we have in here another fight, and zooming through right now will be taken out, and they are going against Almighty Prime.
He manages to chase down and grab him from the back. Nash does the exact same thing to GB as well as Dre, and the tie for Almighty Prime comes to an Almighty N in this round.
We have Vagabonds Esports right now, who was able to pop off into this game, had died down on round number 3, but I think this is a chance for them to get back up. I mean, they are in there. Who are the current kings of the Battle Royale scene so far on the Call of Duty mobile, but we'll have to see yet how consistent they are. They might have lost the previous round against NRX 420, but looking at the leaderboards that we've seen earlier, they still maintain their position, but not that much. So how much will they be able to put down NRX 420? It depends on them as well as performance 420 right now. It's an NC. Will be taken out by Loki, and Loki right now not really going low, but Fluffy will be flat right now as Loki goes in for the rush, but the water will not be able to save it.
Yep, GG, 2 players from the side of Vagabonds Esports going in for the hunt. Flappy will still get caught out. Lukey shuts down Sinitsky. Nash now still looking inside the water. I do not know if he took him out, but yes, he does. It will be the one and only Lukey that sorts that out. And Vagabonds Esports, 7 kills in here so far. Next, they hunt down the players of Sigra Poseidon instead.
Poseidon with Biscuit, we know how he performed in FPP right here, switching left to right, going for the shots, but I think he needs to regroup with the rest of the teams, and they are in here with the company of TNC. This is TNC Supremo, who has not been that supreme just yet, so we'll have to see how well they're able to cross that line of number 8. But Biscuit right now is on the sides of Diana. The shot is on, but nothing is hitting, AJ.
it, but they will not really be challenged by it because they do have a bird's eye view. And TNC, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Team L that makes it TNC Supremo. Sigma Poseidon right down there in front of them. Wagner! Oh, that one dag by Niana was not enough to put Wagner down into the ground. And even if it was a little too close to the silos, and Biscuit would have been able to sort that out by picking the guy up either way. So even the bird's eye view does not give them all of the advantage that they're looking for. But as they continue to move on, TNC Empress find themselves stuck in a very difficult position right outside of the zone. They hop on out, but they get caught in those traps, and that's just not what they're looking for. Through the smoke in a trap outside of the zone, too much of damage to be absorbed. But Gerard now finds Nick, and EZR loses yet another player.
He's reborn right now when we have complimented how well they did this right now on the 3-battle engagement. And this is what they have been avoiding so far. They have gotten a good position because they cannot go in for a multiple teams going against them. And this is one thing that they can improve on. But as we have right now TNC and as well as a different team, which is SDPH, the crossovers of this team will need to be perfect for them to be able to survive. As NRX 422 is also in the mix.
And Boji just got dropped by He Phoenix, and Kape shuts down Assassin, the assassin that took down Boji. And NRX 420, they are on the way potentially now to make a strong comeback, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That scan should be able to be played, and they will be able to be in a good spot shortly. But Gerard continues on all of his tenacious approaches, and NRX 432 will be the next victims potentially, but so much smoke out there just to blind those players so that NRX 432 can continue running away. Fate, on the other hand, will be able to catch his back, and Claudie with the assistance as well. And the players of Team K, the one and only TNC Empress, they do not slow down, but they ramp up their dominance in this lobby. 6 kills so far, they want more, and then cluster on for the toss. Glide is not going to be caught out at all. This smoke bomber still so careful, even in the final moments of getting away, Neptune.
Yeah, and a good move right now, going fast and furious from inside. That was a very difficult move, AJ. I mean, I know how I tried in game, and that will not be the case. I will be bumping up and down and left and right in there, but Fate will not be slowed down, and I right now, I will not be slowed down. And with a buck back up by Fate right now, they might be able to target these reward, but on the other side, we have Secret Poseidon and Vagabonds Esports still not ending the fight between them. But how well will Secret Poseidon be able to hold back, because we have another team of TNC on the other side against them.
Vagabonds Esports now, shots from afar. Blue needs to be careful. The zone now, they're forcing him in as well as the reposition, but it will be TNC once again in their crosshairs.
Yato right now in here, going in for those shots, and Yato is hitting down. The smokes will be put into use to cover the approach next team of TNC, but Sean will not be escaping that much. Luki in there still doing a lot of damage. Ivan's already to his game and going in for the hit against Fate. Fate right now trying to avoid it, but no, that will be a help by Nash. Luki taking out Fate once again, and with Nash down, they need to make that pickup to make themselves 4-man strong. 7 teams still remain in this fight, and 14 soldiers. So that's an average of 2 teams each. But looking at Vagabonds Esports with a complete squad, it will be their advantage.
And the panic smoke there by the players of Vagabonds Esports just to make sure their players do not get taken out of the equation. Open ground being held on, and Vagabonds Esports seems to have the answer for all of that open ground, easy shots that the other teams can take against them, playing those tacticals really smartly. But as you can see, this meta is being played by multiple teams out there on the battlefield, especially the smoke bombers. They are bringing into great effect their class in for the play, and through all of that smoke, they are going to be the most dangerous ones as well, Neptune.
Yeah, the combination of the smoke as the traps will slow anyone down regardless of how they use the snowboard. But this time we are now left with 3 teams remaining, and Luki is still not slowing down right now as James will be gunned down and will be taken down, and Blue on the other side taking out Solo. It is now that boy right now trying to survive this heat, but Ganin as well will be on our side. We have got boy down already by Diato, and there goes Highway being shut down right now, and there goes Vagabonds Esports back in play, only losing one round at number one, but they still remains in here with 3 wins for today.
And they managed to prove themselves yet again. And just as NRX 420 thought they have got a great lead to catch up with them, Vagabonds Esports, they pull away yet again, Neptune. And the kings of Call of Duty Mobile Battle Royale. Just when you thought maybe their time is up, maybe the current Supreme Kings will not be able to float with the rest, they make their comeback on day number 2, sir.
Yeah, that is a big maybe. I mean, they slow down from day number one, from day number one as they move in
Yep.
on day number two, showing us that they are still the kings.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how well will this be maintained by Vagabonds Esports. Vagabonds Nomads, on the other hand, though slowing them down, but we'll have to see yet consistency from them. They have been taken down early on this game, and how will they respond later on is yet to be seen. But this time, we have in there Vagabonds Esports on number one with a
Right.
lot of kills to their name. If I'm not mistaken, this is 23
Yes,
kills,
sir.
AJ.
Yes, sir. 23 kills. I mean, 18 to 19 to 23. Vagabonds Esports are competing with themselves. Vagabonds Esports are currently outdoing not others, but themselves round after round after round. And they truly are in a class of their own, man. Living up to all of the hype that was built onto them ever since the start of this competition, Vagabonds Esports. They are the king of kings of Call of Duty Mobile Battle Royale. And that is shown through their engagement capability out there on the battlefield. They took it slow yesterday, but they come back and they come back hard today. This is match number 4 out of 6. And just in the 3 games that the Vagabonds Esports have managed to provide a very clear picture of how supreme they are, they pick up yet another important victory here. The team that has the most number of victory to their side so far in the competition. The title once again goes to Vagabonds Esports.
Yeah, I love how you say that, AJ, that they don't have any opponents than themselves. They are here not to beat anyone else but themselves, and that is what they're doing right now. Similar to life, similar to everyone. If you are not improving yourself, improving how well you look up to yourself when you face in the mirror, it will mean nothing at all. Yes,
Yeah.
other will be seeing you in a different level, but if you look down on yourself, it will be very difficult to move forward. But
Oh, yeah.
moving forward to what we have on the screen right now, we have a TNC in there. That is TNC, Sean, Pierre, Paquito, and Niana with only 1 kills and 7. That was unfortunate for them to be left out in the open. But compared to their brothers on the other side, on number 8, they have a lot of kills in there, being on number 8.
And being in number 8 is just not going to give them much in terms of the placement points, but it's even worse for the teams at the bottom. STPH, they struggle after performing quite well in the competition. Now they're allowing teams like Easy Reborn to catch up with them because they do not bag a lot here. 10th position along with just that 1 kill point. But KPH, on the other hand, the Wicked Squad, manages to grab away 5 kills. He Phoenix, great performance with the killing, but Almighty Prime with the exact same equation out there as well. Team number 4 managing to grab a total of 5 kills for themselves. Nothing from placements though, Nephew.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate for these teams who have a chance to increase their lead against those below them. But the same goes with Bagman's Nomads. They have 3 kills on this game, and they have 0 on the placement.
Yeah.
When we look at the data earlier, we're expecting a lot more because it shows that they are good on Blackout, they are good in FPP. But for this time, I think with the way everyone else is popping off, it's proven to be very difficult for them to maintain their lead.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And a surprise that the Vagabond Snowman squad got taken out so early, but Almighty Prime, they wanted to take advantage of that situation because this is the team that wanted to catch up with both NRX 420, Vagabonds Esports, as well as the Nomads, but even they couldn't do much.
Yeah, I mean, Almighty Prime right now is in there, has been left in the bottom half of that post game breakdown, and that is, I would say, it's good, AJ, because for those who are trying to catch up from the lower part of of the leaderboards, who are very, very low, I would say, in points, is gives them a fair chance to move up and change how we look at the scene, where
Yeah.
it's only a few teams that is dominating. So this will balance everything out. They can be taken down by those in the lower it, and it's also no a chance for those in the lower part of the leaderboards to be demotivated in going in for this fight. So this will actually turn things around, give them more motivation to climb up the leaderboards and exchange gunshots with these top teams. Nothing
Yeah.
to fear from their side.
Yeah, one of the problems with playing Blackout as well, yes, it's such a huge map, and we have got just 16 teams in there, which means there's not a lot of engagement in the early parts of the matchup, which produces chaos as the circle gathers everyone in. Down to the fifth circle, we saw more than 20 players still alive and kicking out there on the battlefield, and all of that pandemonium just forced the best out of Vagabonds esports as they turned left, right, center, grabbing kill after kill after kill, just taking no chill pill through the all of those engagements. And at the very end, just when you thought that Helix's Vicious might be able to snatch away a victory for themselves, they came nowhere close, man. Vagabonds esports maintained their dominance in this particular lobby, shutting down player after player, and none of them could take away the life of a single Vagabonds esports player.
And that's one thing that we are asking the teams to take advantage of. Going in on the FPP mode, going into the blackout, this will give them really a chance to exploit how slow it is, how much the focus on surviving to the final
Yeah.
zone is. And for those who will be able to get a good rotation against those teams, have their back in a wall, and just move forward and take down team after team.
Yeah.
Also focusing more on the 180 advantage that they have. I would say this is advantage because they have a lot of things to consider. If they consider it well, that will be to their advantage. And they can take out a lot of enemies if they are well prepared for the FPP mode. But if not, plenty of times we are going to see those instances where in the final circle, they will be still a lot of teams fighting.
Earlier on, we saw about a 40-point gap, to be specific, 45 points gap between Vagabonds Nomads as well as Vagabonds Esports. But now, with the players of Vagabonds Esports bagging 23 kills alongside 10 placement points, they get 33 solid points. So the 45-point lead now is sliced down to a point where Vagabonds Esports can take away their number one spot yet again from their own brothers, Vagabonds Nomad. But you want to go what exactly you guys can take? It is going to be the rare wish crate. Once again, thank you so much for all of your support on this broadcast, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we love how you're supporting us right here. And more support, more shares, more likes from you. We'll be able to hit yet another milestone. But for
Yes.
now, we have the rare wish crate right here for you to grab. Take it, put it in game, and redeem all those crates. And again, just a reminder for everyone, this is limited. And if you want to get unlimited, make sure that you stay within the broadcast. Stay in there as long as you can and invite more for us to get the milestone, hit the milestone,
Yeah.
and get unlimited rewards.
Absolutely, man. And we were talking about how, some of the players who go out there and focus on their placement points and only the
Mhm.
kills might get caught out by some of the teams that can play a great balance between the two. I feel like that's exactly where Vagabonds Nomads are going to be caught out here by their big brothers, because placement points now, the emphasis for the top flight teams is going to be coming into play. You guys will see exactly what I mean when we return from a quick short break. Welcome back to the Garena Survivors, where all of the surviving truly matters because the focus back on the placement points comes back into play, especially for the teams who are at the top of the leaderboard of semi-finals too. This is the performance out of Group B that we've been enjoying so far, and all of this action is brought to you by Call of Duty Mobile. My name's AJ, I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Neptune, the gentleman Garcia, bringing you guys all of the action on the commentary desk.
Yeah, I love how the teams are performing right now, how well they are changing the leaderboards, switching it up, and also compared to how day number one ended, I think the gap between the number one as well as those below them are getting small, and it's with the performance of those teams that have shown up so far. Backbones Esports have been taking the wins already. That is, if I'm not mistaken, that's 4 wins already for their team just for the 2 days.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen that from the first semifinals as early as this. So this is how Backbones Esports present themselves as the kings of Battle Royale for Call of Duty Mobile.
Yes, sir. There's a high probability here that the performance that we see in semifinals 2 in Group B is going to be outperforming the statistics that we have already seen in semifinals 1. Because, I mean, first of all, you have got your king of kings of Call of Duty Mobile Battle Royale, Vagabonds Esports themselves in this particular lobby. And you also have got Vagabonds Nomads, who are on a surprising breakout run. They have really managed to set themselves apart from all of the rest. But enough talk. Let's look at the leaderboard to see exactly what is going down.
And as we look at it, we have still yet Vagabonds Nomads in there on top, but not too far behind, AJ. You mentioned about the lead that they have in here against Vagabonds Esports. It has now been cut to 15 points. 15 points that Vagabonds Esports can easily take within one round. And this is what they are doing right now. NRX 420 right there, also at the bottom, creeping up, or not the bottom, but not number 3, creeping up into this top number 3. The fight continues for them. How well will they be able to perform? Yet today they've seen one win, but how many more can they take against all these teams, AJ?
Yeah, man, Almighty Prime in that 4th spot still. But you can see the vast difference of points even between NRX 420 as well as Almighty Prime. And that is going to be the tough spot for Almighty Prime to come in here and bring in some adjustments, because although they perform really well out there with the kills consistently alongside SDPH Generals, they still struggle with their placement points. Easy Reborn Esports Magna, on the other hand, has been focusing on those placement points consistently now.
Yeah, I mean, the way they move up in here on the placement, focusing more on how they can approach the final safe zone. And we've seen how they utilize from yesterday, how they utilize the vehicles to their advantage, finding out a way to stay, I mean, to survive longer on the final circle. That
Yeah.
is what Easy Reborn has been doing, studying, finding out what works and doesn't work for them, and using that to their advantage. Not much on the kills compared to the other teams, but for the placement, it is getting close even for what Vagabonds Nomad
Yeah.
have. So I think this is a more of a focus for them, and then later on they can focus back on the kills and bring themselves probably above SDPH Generals. As we can see, it's very close between them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, sir. Key Phoenix in the seventh position. Amazing performance by this team to slowly climb up the leaderboard alongside Cerulean Legion as well. But as you can see on your right hand side here, the teams who are still battling, who are still struggling to get into the top eight, Royal Kings alongside KPH Wicked. That being said, they are not too far away. TNC Supremo,
Mhm.
they've done amazing with their placement points in comparison to all of the teams, the four teams above them. And the part where they do struggle, though, is with their gunfight, is with their engagement capability out there on the battlefield. But there's still a lot of potential out of this team, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen them take one win already, surviving all throughout the end. And it's more of how consistent they can do that, how can they rotate better, as well as to get the kills. And we all know that these teams are good enough to be able to go and take them, but how well the other teams will be going against them, that is the question. But as we look in overall of this leaderboard, those who have remained on top has taken the win, AJ. So far, it has been bagged all throughout or distributed all throughout Bagwan's Nomads,
Mm.
Esports, as well as NRX 420. For those on the other side, TNC Supremo was able to get one. Will they be able to repeat that? Or for those below them, like Helixus Vicious, TNC Emperor, Secret Poseidon, Alpha Ape Wrath, as well as NRX 432, how will they be getting that win to be able to increase their point and cross over to the other side?
Yeah, man. And after so many of these rounds, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, so far we have witnessed 10 rounds in play for semifinals. Two, but the teams out there still have got a little bit of an opportunity. 2 rounds for today, 6 rounds tomorrow. Anything can still happen. Those teams that are struggling can make those adjustments. But as we speak about adjustments, look at the quick hop into Newtown Island here by NRX 420, immediately attacking that high tier loot zone. They want to catch up with the Vagabond squad.
Yeah, and on the other side, Vagabonds Esports right now will have a special visitor for the side of Cerulean Legion attempting to get that chopper, but I think he will be stuck in there out in the open. And how well will he be able to escape and get back to Fracking Tower? That is question. Once again, this is a blackout, and because of the change that we have day after day on perspective as well as map, we will be jumping on a TPP where everyone are I would say comfortable and doing. But with the blackout being put into play, wherein some of the teams are performing well compared to isolated, it is a good mix for these teams to also utilize and increase their chances of getting those points.
Oh, yeah, man. And of course, as the players of a Royal here go on to continue hunting for their loot, no one is going to be disturbing them on the sheep. Phoenix, on the other hand, they will have to be careful because the Alpha Apes just beyond. And this compound is going to get a little too crowded before you know it. See, Phoenix continuously repositions themselves. You know they have spotted out the apes already, but this duo needs to be careful as they approach the situation. I don't think a 2v4 is going to be in their favor at all. They are hoping and praying that they manage to find a backstab here, nephew.
Yeah, I mean, they are slowly moving in as Merc right now is crouching, the same as the rest of the team. And this is like what mentioned earlier on the first blackout is bound to happen. Team of HE Phoenix has already moved their drop points above Hydro Dam. And with teams like Alpha Ape right now, who have remained in Hydro Dam, that will be the next target of this team as they try to get a better position and get more loots. But how will they be approaching them? Because so far, Alpha Ape Wrath has already gotten this for several times already. So the rotations are, they are familiar with the rotations on this map, on this area, and I think that is one thing that HE Phoenix or He Phoenix has already known and sensed. Thus, they are backing out from that fight. Also, they need to move into a different spot.
Oh, yes, sir. And Sigurd Poseidon now. They move away from their compound. They just want to find a little bit more loot. And of course, they may straight beeline for the chopper that is available. Everybody needs a little bit of mobility when it comes to Blackout. We all see exactly how those vehicles have come into play and have been very, very useful to a lot of the squads out there in terms of hunting down more prey, as well as getting to those so important airdrops and positioning or better positioning in the map. So fun and beautiful.
Yeah, and Sigurd Poseidon, initially they didn't really drop in Turbine. They push away two teams, actually, that is HE Phoenix as well as NRX 432. But on those push, especially on the second instance that they went in on Blackout, they were able to maintain their position here, thus making this their home. So the chopper that comes out there on a Turbine, most of the time, AJ, I think there's two choppers popping up on the map from this area. So it's a great advantage for Sigurd Poseidon. But how well will they be able to utilize all the compound, all the vehicles out there will still remain on how they rotate towards the other team, as well as to get to the airdrop. Because so far, this is a huge map, but the airdrop brings everyone in together to start those engagements.
NRX 432 right in front of the Alpha Apes, and it looks like Sage might just be ready for combat already, dropping by the edge of this hill here as he just used Mother Nature as a little bit of cover, making sure the players of NRX 432 cannot catch them just yet. And now the right-hand side flank in the Alpha Apes splitting off into a 2-2 buddy system here, trying to catch off the players of NRX 432 as they rotate around, keeping an eye on their back. But no engagements just yet, as the players of NRX 432 remain a little hidden as they just edge closer to the Alpha Apes. But a chase is most definitely on pursuit.
Yeah, I think Alpha Ape right now has been distracted with a chopper who just passed by. So they will be moving in towards that and hopefully finding a kill. But I think they are moving in on higher ground with more right now. The snipes as well, or no, that is an RPD to his hand. Will try to utilize that later on to view the enemies behind them, and that is NRX 432, who I think will not be attempting to chase them down. Thus, Alpha Ape will be in there far, far away from them, still out in open, still on foot.
Spots on the other hand, as usual, with the chopper as they fly over everybody else, supreme with the mobility, looking for the airdrop. And whether they'll find one first is still yet to be seen. First blood still haven't been dropped just yet, and might just come through from the side of Almighty Prime. VB and Nomads. It is going to be the Vagabonds Nomads now with the approach. On top of the roof, we'll have two players. They have split off into a 2-2. Swish leading the charge alongside Travis. Travis fighting Gray. The response not there for Almighty Prime just yet. And Quasi strikes right back. But Virus is there for the take back as he trades out the one and only Quasi. Back and forth these two teams go. But out of nowhere, Cerulean dropping by to check out the situation, as well as the third party James with a quick drive-by, but hasn't been able to pick up anything just yet. Sinitsky a little too far to bring in any pressure on these two teams.
And it's a good thing that they backed out in there, because back once Nomads has been dying on and on this fight against the Almighty. And with the introductions of Pogs, we'll have to see how well will they be able to go in for this fight, because so far we haven't seen the performance of Pogs just yet. But with Virus, Travis, and Swish in there, who have shown us great stride in this battle, taking the lead on the tournament, I think they are still on a good spot. But Almighty right now has been hiding out, and with the shutters still closed, at the moment it's open, it might be a surprise hit by Vagabonds, but no! They back away from this area, and I think they will be utilizing the utility or the artillery that they have to flush them out, but it hasn't happened just yet. Vagabonds Nomads will be fleeing this fight, getting a good corner for themselves.
No idea what was up that setup, but I think they just didn't want to take a little bit of an extra risk by heading into a compound where clearly the players of AMD Prime were already positioned, waiting for the upgrade. So Vagabond's Nomads goes in with the slower, more safer approach. Travis, as he tried to hop on in, backs away. Dre backs Pog. Royal Omega from the back. SCP is going down as well. Dre, their slice onto Pog will continue to keep the numbers all equal now with Quasi on the way back as well. The numbers are stacked, but Phoenix, dropping by to be the third party this time round in this battle. And Vagabond's Nomads, just when they thought they could go in and shut down AMP Prime, they have more Queen out there on the battlefield. But will they be able to be the greatest winners of this engagement? Vagabond's Nomads, they quickly disengage. They want to get out of there.
Yeah, they want to get out of there and get a little bit of distance for them to see clearly who they will be targeting, but not too far because Travis and Swish will be regrouping, getting the rotation from the perimeter and getting a good see as to who are in here. Oh, and there you have it, AJ. One of the teams right now going for the challenge is NRX 420, and we have Almighty, Vagabond's Nomads, as well as Phoenix right now in the mix. It's a core team, but how will this end? Still yet to see.
Zeus hasn't gone out Virus yet. Virus catches the back of Peanut. And now with that knock, Boji steps on out as well. Boji, did he get taken out? No, on the prone. And Carpe shuts down Travis. This is a good play coming through. Boji did get knocked down earlier on. He didn't have that information, but it doesn't matter because the pickup is solid. Peanut will be saved right after this. And Carpe, he moves on forth for the shutdown. Virus together with the backup for all of the other players in there. Travis cannot pick that dog tag up just yet. And now the gatekeeping action from NRX 420. Carpe.
It's a good move for Carpe.
Will he punish Travis? Yes, he will, my lord. Travis caught out as well.
That was a good move from Capi right now, pushing the rest of Vagabond's Nomads right now, just giving time for the pickup to be done. And Capi hadn't slowed down. They didn't pull back, and this is one of the best 1v3 or 1-3 split that I've seen so far. Capi is going in for aggressive. The rest are just regrouping, and this is how it is done. NRX 420 right now showing us a little bit of a new thing to try on for our BR games.
Swish is still alive. Final player can pick up those dog tags very slowly, very patiently, waiting as he knows Almighty Prime are still there. And maybe Almighty Prime can finish off Vagabond Snowman. Chase now just beside him. Chibi also with the opportunity, but they all want to be careful. They do not want to aggress onto NRX 420, who are on fire for this round. Swish now triggers a trap out there on the battlefield. Chase with the attack as well. Swish on for the approach towards those dog tags, and it looks like he might just be able to make it.
Yeah, we'll have to find out how well will that work. But on the other side, we have NRX 432 right now going against TNC, and Clyde was able to take down Fear. Sean right now is an approach from under the water, and seeing one right now in there on that pier. We'll have to find out how will that work. Sean will be taken down, and there's Walla will be the one putting in the takedown, and Niana will need to get away from this battle. They have been split. The TNCs has been split. It's a good regroup by NRX 432 right now, but I think they will not be able to get more kills because they will be left behind.
Yeah, let's see if or not they can do exactly that, right? Grab a couple of more kills there and beat all odds out there on the battlefield. But TNC needs to play it slow, needs to play it safe alongside NRX 432, who are waiting for Cho to jump back in here for the play. But gatekeeping those dog tags. That's the play.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that play will work for them. Here comes the Backboss Esports. Oh, a good spot right now for Yato, and Biscuit will be shot right now, but Rewind will save it. And Yato right now dropping in there. Slick will be taken down by Blue, and Yato still on the roll with a shot into the smoke and bringing them one at a time.
But Yato now gets turned on the ground, courtesy of the one and only Tassan from Sigma Poseidon. But just beyond the horizon, Vagabond's Esports dropping by with the rest of the firepower. Liu Qi shuts down Tassan, and Vagabond's Esports quickly recover this situation. But Sigma Poseidon, they haven't been shut down just yet. One more player left out in the open to get those dog tags back in for the play.
Yeah, very, very far from the scenario, from the cream of this, from the scene of the crime right now, and that is Biscuit, who we've seen so far has been great in going in for the approach of the kills, but this time I think with how Vagabonds Esports was able to take them one at a time, especially the movement of Iato in there jumping in on that tree. That is the first time that we've seen that. But on the other side that we haven't seen just yet is the battle, how it will end against NRX 420 and Almighty Prime right here.
Yeah, Almighty Prime still holding a good line, but they are sitting on inside the house, waiting for NRX 420 to come knocking on the door, and they do exactly that. They're holding in the hands of Zeus. He shuts down Dre. He shuts down Travis right behind as well. It's going to be Zeus who bangs everyone. Dre and Quasi all taken out. And it looks like NRX 420 are on fire. But can they now shut down Vagabonds Nomads as well, who are full force once again? It looks like those dog tags have been quickly picked up, and they're right back in here for the play. Walks with the backstab. He has got the flank position on all of the NRX 420 players. Scarpe with the opportunity, but falls from the shot from the back, and he disables Scarpe with the assistance of Virus.
And that is a bad move in there, dipping in the water, slowing him down, thus being taken down. Now Peanut will be in there into the smokes, a chance to go in for the hit, but Virus right now also jumping in, crossing over to avoid any gunshots. But the chase is on. Zeus as well as Boji will be in there in the water, and there goes Peanut being taken down by Travis into the mix. Now the tables has been turned, and we have Vagabonds Nomads taking over this compound.
Just when you thought that NRX 420 can catch up with the Nomads themselves shut down the boys from NRX. Amazing plays by Virus, especially with the play positioning supremacy. He shuts down the place player from the side of NRX 420, which immediately makes them scramble. Peanut caught out as well, and those two dog tags are not going to be easy to retrieve them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it has been done with Vagabonds Nomads, but hopefully another team will be jumping in, distract them, and pull away so that NRX 420 will be able to get those dog tags, but that has still yet to be seen because all the battle is in here surrounding Vagabonds Esports. The Eagles has been put into play right now, and with the next phase of the safe zone moving in, they need to get a better position. But speaking of better position, what more can we have in there from Royal Kings? But they will be joined by Alexis, and two members are side by side. Good view in there from that sniper.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And neither player wanting to step on out of the defenses just yet. Vagabonds Esports on the other hand. Nash jumping into the zone. 80 HP still left on him. Nobody took advantage as he had no armor on himself whatsoever. Nash survives that ordeal, and he quickly repositions, and the firepower from the rest of his team members just made sure that guys aren't going to get caught out anytime soon. But here comes Easy. Perfect flyby. Fakes in the wrong time, wrong place, and he pays for it.
They thought they would be safe jumping in the safe zone and just popping out of that bar. The rest of the teams are already gatekeeping it. We have the Vagabonds Esports right now. On the other side, we have NRX 432. So it will be a matter of time that someone will be taking them down. But the rest of Easy Reborn are still alive, just hiding out into that one place as the battle ensues between Vagabonds Esports and NRX 420 as the Vagabonds Esports Yano leads the push.
Yep, 4-3-2 now. One by one. They back the way, but at the edge of the circle, they cannot do much. Outside of the zone now. Zone hurting them one by one, and also the shot from Vagabonds Esports. Clyde, they all repositioned together with the snowboard, and now just across the body of water, disabling the firepower of Vagabonds Esports because of the distance placed between them. But Vagabonds Nomads becomes the attention for Vagabonds Esports now as they turn around, reviving in anyone that they can find out there of the battlefield. But that will also put them at great risk now as all of the teams now can aim at them. They are on the open grounds here, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, Vagabonds Nomads, if I'm thinking that one Easy Reborn who was able to take them down. Boji right now on the other side has been taken down, and it is NRX against NRX. 432 against 420. Who will survive this fight? We have Zeus right now, and he's just getting out of the water, and the shots in there for the other team. And there goes Peanut, killed by Suwala. Or Peanut was able to take down Suwala, and Zeus will continue on with the shots with a safe zone against them. NRX 432 not looking good.
Without the one-ticket Boji, what can NRX 420 get? That now, Supreme, Odin plays, shuts down Cape, Peanut, and Zeus. Two more players left on the side of NRX 420. Peanut, can he be the heavy carry as Joe himself gets taken out of the equation? The zone getting its jaw of the trap by Stu. He catches up with Peanut, but he knows that the players of Cerulean, as they continue driving around, will be a problem. That gets taken out of the equation by Peanut. NRX 432 still not happy with their brothers NRX 420, but every man out for himself, every single squad for themselves out there on the battlefield. As NRX 432 can step on forth, it will make no difference to NRX 420. Vagabonds Nomads on the other hand, out in front, they shut down the players of A, and the Alpha A do not stand a chance against them. But Vagabonds Nomads, how will they deal with the pressure that Vagabonds Esports now can bring into display?
Top three in the same area together with the HE Phoenix, Burn and Zerker in there will be stuck in between a rock and hard place. And we have the Nomads with a good position but on the edge of safe zone as Vagabonds Esports take advantage of this moment to get in the middle of the next one. Kicks PH right now will be chased, will be rushed, and I believe will be taken out so high right now. The good smoke and they will be able to get away, but for how far that will be seen as Death Scally fired back against Luke.
Smart repositioned by the Ninja. Just 4 more on the armor, but he makes sure he moves straight in towards the smoke, giving himself a little bit of cover as he applies all of that armor to replenish himself. And it will be NRX 432 on the other side, and NRX 420 on the other side as they await the players of Vagabonds Esports. Vagabonds Esports once again moving towards their own their own clan members of NR. Vagabonds Nomads on the other side, KPH Mate on the other hand will be baked out in the hot sun as Blue just lights him up. Player after player. Vagabonds Esports still on the hunt. 30 kills in hand so far. They still have not shut down Vagabonds Nomads, and finally the fight that I was looking for comes to fruition out there on the battlefield, Neptune.
Yadow's continuing now, Loki is out as well as Blue, the only one remaining, as well as Nash. But how will they be able to survive? We have the bots right now in here just armoring up, but the push of Swish will not be stopped. There comes Backstab against Nash, and Nash will try to get away, but there's another one in there, but the Rewind class will be able to save it, because Swish will be able to armor up. And it's a 2v2 battle right here. No picking up another teammate, but Blue will be taken out by Virus, and it is now 3 against 1. And there goes Yado being down, and here comes the chase, but Nash will be able to get away, but no. Once you're infected, the virus will get you. Vagabonds, Nomads in there for that win.
Yeah, but well played. The Rewind class action activation final second on the side of Vagabonds, but it was not enough to get away from the Nomads. Was it gonna be enough for the Nomads, though, to overtake the players of Vagabonds Esports with the extra 4 points on the placement? Because we did see the supreme attack by Vagabonds Esports as well when it came to the kills department. They still really managed to blaze on through that lobby.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a statement of Bagman's Nomads that you can try and chase us, but we can get away with the points just like that. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see because it's a lot of kills already has been made, but both teams they have not been stopping down or slowing down. But there we have it. We have in here not that much AJ from Bagman's Nomads, but the addition of the 10 points for the placement will be good. But moving over on the other side right now, this is 17 kills just from this round. 17 kills against the 9 in there from Bagman's Nomads. That will balance it out or actually increase for the side of Vagabonds Esports.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And Vagabonds Esports just cutting down that 15-point lead that the Nomads have against them, and ever so slowly that lead will get thinned down. Phoenix, amazing performance this time round, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Ever so slowly, they've been climbing up the leaderboard, and they do phenomenally this time around as well. With the placement points that we have been touching on so many times. We've been asking Phoenix to provide us with the placement points. Finally, they do in the 3rd spot, and they also pick up 11 kills alongside those placements.
Yeah, and Kicks PH, KPH right now. KPH Wicked in here on number 4 with 4 kills. Their placement has been doing well for this round. Their survivability has been increasing, but with the teams who are surrounding them from that final safe zone, you have Vagabonds Nomads as well as Vagabonds Esports. You cannot do that much in the kills. How they get away from the engagement as well as turn around and try to take you down. That is the pressure that Kicks PH or KPH has felt. But as we look
Yeah.
in there, we also have NRX 420 and number 5 who have a lot of kills as well, especially with the battle that they ended against NRX 432 when we thought
Yeah.
432 has been taking good damage already against a team. They will be put in there in number 10 spot.
Oh yeah, crazy stuff out of the top three teams in the competition for sure. Vagabonds Esports, Nomads, as well as NRX 420. But at the bottom, NRX 432 doing quite well as well, picking up for themselves a total of 6 kills. But in terms of placement points, gets absolutely nothing. TNC, this is team number 11, which is TNC Empress, alongside 7 kills for themselves. And they are going to be able to sandbag themselves at the bottom because although they get no placement points, the emphasis on the kills are there coming through from the Empress here.
Yeah, I mean, the kills will be able to help them, but the placement will help them even more. But we'll have to see how well will that work. The Royal Kings right now in there from 12, as well as Secret Poseidon from 13. For Secret Poseidon, it's real surprising not to get that much kills. Only one from Tasan. Probably the pressure that has been brought in onto the game earlier on, wherein they have been stuck in a corner and they all they have to do is just to get away. So we'll have to see more on how the rotations will work for this game. But the NC as well as SDPH will be in there. But as we review the highlight, this is what I love about what Yato did. Ending on the top of that tree, AJ, that is very difficult to do. And how
Yeah.
good you are in the game, that shows, or that proves to show that how good Yato is with the controls.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yato was just a killing machine out there on the battlefield. Opportunity after opportunity approved him to bag those skills, but Tasan was the one to turn things around on him, make him into a dog tag. But the retrieval by the rest of his team members as Luki jumped back in there for the defense was just absolutely solid. But NRX 420, they had amazing opportunities with them as well early on to take out Vagabonds Nomads from the equation, but this engagement just did not end well for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it had been an unfortunate event for them because they will be pushed out of that area, and Vagabonds Esports will be blocking their way. Now, ending in on Vagabonds Nomads and Vagabonds Esports, the Nomads right now in here a good opportunity, especially as Yato has been taken down. But this is what we want to see how the usage of the rewind class is so good between these two teams. Earlier that was Nomads, but later on we're going to see this is Nash right now who will try to get away and then later on use that rewind to get back. But unfortunate will be in there gunned down by 3 members of the Nomads.
Oh, yeah, man. And, surviving the final round in there, the final circle, Vagabonds Nomads still managed to prove themselves. Yes, they did have the supreme numbers, but in terms of consistency out there on the battlefield today, has just not been one of those great days for the Vagabonds Nomads. Yesterday was a breakout day. Today is somewhat of a day of maintenance for them to maintain their number 1 spot. And that has not been the final opportunity just yet. That has just been round number 5. But through their win, Vagabonds Nomads picks up their 3rd victory of semifinals. 1 more, they'll be able to match up with Vagabonds Esports themselves that have got 4 on their side.
Yeah, and that is for the placement. But for the kills department, we'll have yet to see how much they can offer into this game. But for what we can offer for you guys who's watching us right now, we have the rare wish crate once again in there just below AJ. So go ahead and claim that during the break because a lot more is in store. So hopefully for those watching, you are still sharing the stream. Guys, 30 minutes between shares will not hit you on Facebook. So do that every 30 minutes and you will be able to help the show, help us and all the COD community out there to increase the awareness of how big the Battle Royale is right here.
Absolutely, man. And without your support, we cannot continue growing. So please do help us to drop that like as well as share if you haven't just yet. And we will keep those rewards coming through. We're going to take a quick short break. When we come back, the final round of the day.
Welcome back to the Garena Survivors semifinals 2, day number 2. Brought to you by Call of Duty Mobile. At your service at the casting desk, we are your casters, Neptune the Gentleman Garcia, together with the amazing Mustachio AJ, and we are here to bring you this story to your screen. So far, we have yet to see the time, the round that Vagabonds and Nomads will be taken down from their reign of number 1. But we have been seeing great strides being done by Vagabonds Esports to take that lead and make that a little bit smaller for the comfort of their brothers, the Nomads.
Oh, yeah, man. And by the time we reach day 3, Vagabonds Nomads might not still hold on to the number 1 spot. I mean, they've been solid in day number 1 to grab that number 1 spot. They've been solid in day number 2 to keep the number 1 spot. But by the end of the day, by the end of the next match, things can change depending on how Vagabonds Esports want to approach this matchup. But overall, the top 3 teams in semifinals 2 have truly set themselves apart from the rest, Neptune. And that is truly a shocker because the dominance here has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we are talking about 11 matches played so far, and 10 of the wins have been taken by the top 3 teams alone.
Yeah, and not only the wins, AG, the scores. I mean, it's almost for a
Yeah,
difference of 3 and 4. The third and fourth, that is NRX 420 and Almighty Prime. I think it's
yes,
already double
correct.
the difference. So we'll have to
Yeah,
see how that ends on the leaderboard as it will be shown right now on our screen. We
yes.
have Vagabonds Nomads right now between them and Vagabonds Esports as mentioned. The gap between them is getting small.
Actually, this time around, it got a little bit bigger there. So interesting as Vagabonds Nomads managed to pull away slightly. We saw the lead of 7 points earlier on now get extended once again to
Mhm.
11 points. So Vagabonds Nomads, as much as Vagabonds Esports tries to catch up with them, the Nomads are able to sustain their number 1 spot. But once again, 11 points difference, one match can make sure Vagabonds Esports end up in the number 1 spot by the end of the day. But like we mentioned earlier on, the top 3 spots are being dominated right now by NRX 420, Vagabonds Esports, as well as Nomads. As you can see, the points are insane. And the number of wins, as you can see, 343 all backed by the Vagabonds. The only one outlier is TNC Supremo, who stole away a victory yesterday.
Yeah, and they stole it away, but weren't able to maintain it. Thus, they are on the second page of this book. But the
Yeah.
focus here, AJ, for the 3 days of the semifinals is to be able to cross it on to the top eight. But if we look right now down on the list, yes, we have Almighty Prime, HE Phoenix, who I would say I would like to congratulate because they are moving up on leaderboard, kicking SDPH in there on number 6. Easy Reborn Magna, KPH Wicked, Cerulean Legion, as well as Royal Kings. Very, very close to each other, and it can change anytime soon.
Yeah. And of course, as they are looking to change the positioning on the leaderboard, Cerulean Legion as well as Royal Kings, they continue putting their efforts out there. And as you guys can see, it is very, very close. So Easy Reborn Esports Magna as well as KPH Wicked, they have to continuously keep the fire in their hearts blazing through as they end the final round of the day. TNC Supremo, they have climbed up the leaderboard slowly, ever so slowly, a little painful with the pace that they are taking now, but they surely are doing a great job alongside their brothers TNC Empress. Over down at the bottom, earlier on today, we saw NRX 432 sitting down in the very last spot. And that last spot now is being held on by Sigra Poseidon, Alpha Ape in the 15th position. Helixus Vicious, on the other hand, have been blowing hot and cold through the competition, but just slowly losing their hold, losing their positions as they continue to not prove anything out there when it comes to those placements. They continue to struggle to remain surviving in these lobbies, Neptune.
Yeah, they have yet to shown us what they have to cross that number 10 spot. I think the highest that they have is the 11th spot. But as we start this round number 6, this is isolated right now, and this is FPP. So as we mentioned, it will be switched up between blackout and isolated. TPP will be 5 and FPP will be 6. So thus we'll be ending it with this map. But it still doesn't change some of the drop points of the team, as we see Nuketown right now still being occupied by 2 of these teams right now, and we'll have to find out who will take the win, or probably they will just take the chopper away.
Let's see what they can grab for themselves in here. One quick chopper still coming through from a player on the side of Vagabonds Esports. As you can see, things are getting a little heated here in the final matchup, as TNC will go on to meet a good challenge right in front of them in the name of the Royals. And 2 players drop down onto the ground, courtesy of Hagen now. Gerard as well as Ron have got the supreme duty of pulling them right back into the mix. And Gerard just shutting them all down one after the other. Can he bag another 2 more? He does manage to pick up 2 dog tags, but there you go, the very first team elimination. Gerard alongside the TNC squad get pushed out back to the lobby.
Yeah, TNC right now is in there jumping in to Nuketown. This is TNC Emperors, but they have already something good happening on Sanitarium. I'm just wondering, why are they jumping in to Nuketown, where in some of the time they will be taken down, some of the time yes they will be able to take the win, but in Sanitarium they don't have any contentions happening, and thus this happen. This kind of engagement as well as this kind of downfall will happen, that they will be eliminated from the house, that they are not welcome. And we pointed that out so many times, that if you don't change that, you will not also be able to change your stride onto the leaderboard, compared from what we've seen from semifinals 1, wherein ABC Mystic has changed their ways in the drop points, thus increasing the points that they have to the leaderboard.
Let's see what they can do here. But the problem here for Team Cerulean, on the other hand, is they hop into this battle with only 3 players on their side, and that's not gonna be the best thing to do if you are already struggling to maintain your top 8 lead. And if they do falter now, very easily they can be replaced in the number 8 Vagabond is pushed right back towards the right-hand side. But KPH surviving. Dabscali, one quick scan coming through. So high gets taken out of the equation as well. Dabscali, can he survive the onslaught of Helicious Vicious as they viciously attack and slay one after the other? Manages to bring in a player back into the mix, and Silent is still in here for the chase, but Dabscali with the vehicle, ATV in hand, will back away as quickly as he can. Dog tags on the ground. He needs to make the play in a little bit.
And he needs to make the play in a little bit, but comes back to Royal Kings, going against Cerulean. Cerulean has been jumping in here every time they start the game. The moment they get the loot, they jump into Nuketown, trying to surprise anybody, but with the full squad from Royal Kings, it will be a big bite for them. But for this time, they have 2 kills already to their name. Royal Kings will be back in the corner, as well as a few more members from Sigra Poseidon. I'm seeing Sigra Poseidon on our minimap, but I am not seeing them on our screen. But we'll have to see if that is a fluke, that is a bug somewhere on the minimap. But Cerulean right now, despite of the 3 members, AJ, they're still doing well in this game.
Oh yeah, I mean, you most definitely have to, right? Because if you're down by 1 player already, you just need to turn the heat up a little bit, because the position that Cerulean holds onto right now is a really risky one, man. They need to continuously step it up. Earlier on, we saw them being kicked from the 7th spot down to the 9th position, but there's not a lot of points between them as well as KPH as well as Easy Reborn. Like what we saw is just a matter of 3 extra points that they need to garner for themselves. But the extra kill points that they get in the early stages of the matchup is going to help out a little bit later on. But they cannot take a risky approach though, because down in the numbers, they might just get caught out there.
A good move from side of AG Phoenix right now, using this ramp with the ATV, going in against SDPH. And SDPH, the consistency that they've given right now, I think is being challenged by AG Phoenix. They have stuck in there at the number 5 spot, and seeing SDPH is being pushed down, they are continuing to pull them down even more. We have in there, take down Kalibe, will be taken down as well as the 3 right now, but the Reef will be able to get back. Well by Bubbles, and it's now left to Sucre, but Mark is also surviving with a sliver of hell. How well will they survive? Not that much. Sucre will be left with a solo gameplay against 2 more members of the team.
Live through the zone, little by little. Bubbles repositions, and SDPH 2v1. It is going to be the cluster that is tossed out. Can he get it to blow up? Oh no, he's being tagged up at the same time, but Bubbles gets bagged. And Sucre, even as the last player, still standing here for the side of Phoenix. Just like the Phoenix, he rises up to the occasion. 3 dog tags in hand, scans them all right back through to bring his team members into play.
A sweet play from Sucre right there, and was able to get 3 points for their team. Moving in on Easy Reborn right now, a team that we have seen improve so far, and I think they keep on improving. 3 kills in their game, and KPH is being pushed out, but who will they be cutting next? That is the question. Now Easy Reborn right now is on their way into the middle of the map, and I think they also have their sights as that remaining member of KPH. But if they will not be able to see them, they need to focus more on airdrop that will be coming their way in a few.
Easy Reborn, very safe in terms of approach. They still want to maintain their dominant lead, currently sitting on the 7th spot like we discussed earlier on, but they are a little too close to the others on the second half of the page. So they need to dominate this matchup. The best way possible to do that, get into the final circle and then unleash your potential on all of the other squads. Grab those kills, but you cannot risk not pulling away those placement points for yourself. Vagabond's Nomads reposition after dropping that smoke bomb and Almighty Prime. They have got their vision obscured. They will not be able to take those blind shots against Vagabond's Nomads. And Nomads, look at this maneuver coming through, man. They are flanking on from the right-hand side. Might be able to catch a bonus peanut on the way there.
Yeah, and that will be a bonus, definitely, if they will be able to see NRX 420 in there. But if that would be a mix of yet another Vagabonds esports on this game, it will be very difficult for them, because we've seen so far how well they can be outplayed by this team, but it just remains to be seen as we go in, and Vagabonds Esports will be moving away. Now, Almighty Prime will be in there on the high ground, seeing them already, and they are still going in head on. Oh, I'd rather change that. They will be moving in on the other side and going in for another flank. And AJ, this is the tenacity of Vagabonds Nomads right now,
Yeah.
straight against Almighty, even in the low ground.
Yeah, but that's the problem, man. Lower ground is going to be an issue. Question is, have the Almighty Prime squad players spotted them out already? NRX 420, on the other hand, full squad, raging on first. Cerulean James has been caught out in front of them. They spot the player. Almighty Prime still repositioning. Snowboards out for the play, and Almighty Prime do not want to engage. Straight for that airdrop, and they manage to do a quick hit and run. But Swish coming in here for the chase, and he seemed to be chasing Chase himself. No pun intended. Will they get caught out, or will they catch him off guard? Swish forces them away from that airdrop, whereas the other players from Vagabonds Nomads, my apologies, head on to see exactly what can they grab out of it. But I'm pretty sure nothing much, man. 4 players have already.
And on the other side, we have NRX 432 right now. Earlier, we have seen kills from them, but this time, they are being taken out one at a time. We have a Joe right now in play, going in for the kill against Omega. Omega right now turning around and will go for the chase. Now we have a Joe who needs to get out, but on the other side, Del Cutie will be taken out by Clyde. Now we have Omega in here, just looking around, finding that last member. Or no, not last member. We have a Clyde still alive, and that will be moving in. That in there, taking down Hangin, and will be able to go for the pickup. But will the surprise hit be done by Royal Kings? On the other side, Vagabonds Nomads and RX 428.
Yep, it looks like NRX 420 might just not be able to catch up with the Vagabond squad, as Vagabonds Nomads continue to shut them down. Zeus, Chape, both taken out of the equation already. It's going to be the one and only Pox. Vagabonds Nomads, they continued striking down all of those players from the side of NRX 420. Peanut a little bit too far. Boji, the Wonder Kid. It's just 2 more players on the side of NRX 420, and as you can see, Vagabonds Nomads already ready to take them out of this lobby. But ECB1 drops by, and they say, why not? Virus shuts down Nyx as well as Dustin from the air, blowing up their cover.
Easy Reborn, who is playing it safe, will be taken down right now and will be rushed. It is a 2v4 situation, just in case they will not be able to go for the pickup. But with the pickup being done by Easy Reborn right now, they need to get away real quick, because Snowboard will be in there and Sphinx will be taken down as well as Nyx. Dustin will be out as well. 1 remaining member for Easy Reborn. Not looking good for them if they want to maintain their place on the leaderboard.
Yep, and Phoenix still flying around, trying to find an opportunity to land and shut down a team. Almighty Prime might just be that squad, but as they move on straight, guarding a couple of dog tags out there on the battlefield as well, they will just fly past the dog tags of NRX 420. They do not want to third party, they want the airdrop for themselves, but they will see the players of Alpha A picking on that airdrop and they back away. Nowhere for Phoenix to land just yet as this Phoenix continues flying around in the air.
Jaeger right now, I think he might have been spotted, but Phoenix right here will be flying away and will be taking the edge of the safe zone. Smart move for Phoenix right here if they want to maintain and get a lot of placement and survive all throughout against half of the team out there. Peanut, on the other hand, was able to get it this far, as well as Flappy. So a lot of remaining members of the other teams spread across the map and meeting here in practice range. I will have to see how well will they push by Merc. So they have to see 1 being pushed right now. Flappy right there was able to go for the takedown, but Assassin will be going in for the follow-up. Now, how will Peanut get away from that situation? Because he is up next, just in case he will not, or he haven't left just yet.
Yeah, Blue pulling out the baseball bat. Paquito down on the ground. He just got hit out of the park. And that's not something that Paquito will be too happy about to relate to other people. But it doesn't matter. That shuts down Niana. It will still be the players of Phoenix abandoning their chopper, throwing it away. I wonder why, but it doesn't matter for the time being. Because now they are caught out. They have to get on foot from one corner to the other. But as you can notice right in front, NRX 420, 3 players right in front of them. The fourth one turned into a dog tag just towards the left-hand side. And if they want to bring him back into the play, they need to work for it right now.
Yeah, earlier, Peanut rushed in with an antelope towards them, using that Ryu one, got back and regroup. Thus, the chopper being thrown right there. So how does that end? We have to see, because on the other side, we have Vagabond Esports right now going against the Zebra. Slick will be taking them, taking them down with help of Nash. Now, Nash right here, slowly moving in onto the kill house, and kill house indeed, a lot of killers in here and a lot of dog tags already. How will they be able to maintain the position? It will be taking the higher ground. That is a smart move for Vagabond Esports right here, because of how the compound has been built in the kill house. You will need to get past your view on that giant kill house.
Prime now in the prime position to punish the other players later on. Nobody encroaching their position just yet. Tape grabs a double kill. Aki taken out of the equation. Luki shuts down Komori from the Alpha Ape side, but very slowly Sigra Poseidon now cutting through the building and reaching Chibi alongside the rest of these players, and Almighty Prime will see their prime position getting taken over shortly. They have to find a way to get up top on the roof as well, so they can have the bird's eye view. Sitch dropped out of the equation by Vagabond Esports. Almighty Apes now will see the ruthless side of Vagabond Esports. Blue drops Apollo, and the Alpha Apes do not look alpha in front of the King of Kings.
Yeah, the Kings of Kings indeed. Soltov is in there. Will be taken down. We are now down to 10 teams remaining. Quasi will be sighted in there by Blue, but will be able to get away. But how well aboard that for Blue? Be able to spot that member. Yato on the other hand has been taken in by Swish, and we have the brothers on the other side gunning them down. High ground against high ground. Mountains against mountains. Kings against kings. We'll have to see how will this be approached by this team. Swish right now going for the rush and the flank, but we have a Nash as well as a Blue right now hiding out in the boulder, and no follow-up just yet. Nash will be gunned down with Swish, but will be able to fly right through for the kill.
Yeah, these players from Vagabond Esports just do a little too slick, a little too fast to get caught out by anyone. And Nash, he's not going to stand by and get shut down from any players through a backstab. The guy has got the snowboard supreme with the repositioning out there on the battlefield. And now moving on towards the edge of the circle instead, just so that they can play a safer game and allow all of the other teams to shut down each other. It looks like Vagabond Esports want win number 5 for themselves.
Another team who wants to win for themselves is NRX 420. They are keeping the distance from the battle, but still maintaining a good number of kills. 7 kills already to their name, and still on the other side of this hill. Joe, on the other hand, from 432, was able to take down Pierre from TNC. And Suala in here is looking and getting some information as they need to move up this hill, who might be meeting their brothers for the name of NRX 420. But on the other side, if they choose to go there, they will be going against Vagabond Esports. But 420 is a little bit busy against Cerulean and James in their popping smoke, but a little bit too late because he has been sighted and will be gunned down by Cuphead.
420 opportunity. NRX 432 in front of them. Vagabond Esports, they continue to strike, and it looks like NRX 432 will be the next victim. 7 kills on the side of Vagabond Esports as well, just like NRX 420. But will they be able to make that 11? Boji out of nowhere shuts down Blue, and the strike from the back, from up top. Boji, bird's eye view, manages to damage the performance of Vagabond Esports just a little bit. But now turning his attention over to NRX 432 as well. Boji needs to be careful because the response from the Vagabond Esports quickly comes through and shoots him away from his bird's eye view.
His foot has been pushing into a disadvantage. NRX 420 needs to fly away as well to get a lower position compared to earlier. We have Yato right now taking on that, and that is it for Yato, as he will be eaten by the safe zone and will not be picked up that quickly. The rest of NRX 432 will be stuck in this valley as the 2 Titans will be covering both sides.
420 now, Boji as well as Cape, Virus is beyond here. Let's see if that battlefield as Vagabond Esports will continue continue to step on in front of them, and you know they are not going to be slowing down. NRX 420 now attacking their own brother. Swish tries to get away, but Boji says, no boy, come right back here. Vagabonds nomad this time. NRX 420 gets a little bit of revenge as they shut down their players one after the other. So still remaining alive in here, but Boji spots him out, but tagged up as well, which forces Boji to reposition. Has got the kinetic armor overcharger in hand. Clyde taken out by Nash. Vagabonds Esports, 3 players alive and kicking. They want that revenge against NRX 420 as well for shutting down Blue on their side earlier on, but it is not a position where they can just hunt down the players of NRX 420. There's too many players still alive in the circle, Neptune.
Yeah, and as we see right now, we have Almighty Prime trying to move up, but James right here will be backstabbed. We'll see how Loki right now will go in for the push, but no, Loki is taken out by Chase, and Loki and Yato will be knocked down as well. As Brave releases that cluster. Nash is in there, the only guy surviving, going against NRX 420 right now. Cape is in there being sighted, but it could get away from that, but will be bumping into that wall and trying to get away from Zeus as we chased by Almighty Prime from the other side.
Yeah, it looks like Almighty Prime is going to be finishing off the Vagabonds Esports players, whereas NRS 420 still continue to aim for the victory. GB takes Cape down, and it looks like Cape is finished off by Cho now. NRX 432 chipping on in everybody for themselves, but Boji for that backstab takes that perfect revenge as he executes... he executes the player of NRX 432 out there. Apologies for that mind fart, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Almighty Prime still on their 5 position here. Moves on in the numbers game against Boji, will win it out, and Almighty Prime grab that victory for themselves. The very first win for this squad, Neptune.
We ask the teams following the top 3 to be able to get that number 1, and there we have it. Almighty Prime right now surviving that battle as well as getting the win, removing the chance for NRX 420 to get yet another last 2 games for this day. And that is not a surprise for Almighty because we have challenged them. They have here to prove us that they still have what it takes to go and represent the Almighty brand as well as the Prime team for this day.
I mean, they've been proving themselves all throughout already. Nobody's going to hold it against them if they cannot match up to Vagabonds, Esports, Nomads, as well as NRX 420 yet. But to keep that pressure up, to continuously make sure that they can hang with the best and even shut them down in the final circle is the kind of promise that the Almighty brand needs out of these Prime players. But of course, let's take a quick look at the highlights of these scores as they were picked up earlier on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. 9 kills from the side of Almighty Prime alongside 10 from the placement points gives them 19 in this round. But it will be NRX 420 that overtakes them to grab that number 1 spot. And it is mainly because of their victories through those kills, managing to bag a total of 15 kills alongside the 6 placement points gives them 21 points.
21 points for their name, and that is a good play for them. And seeing that Peanut has been gunned down early into the game, will not be able to do that much to help and increase those kills. The rest of the teams was able to carry on that fight. Bagwas Esports, on the other hand, will get 10 kills to their team, and as well as a number 3 spot. But there you have it on number 4, AJ. The movement of NRX 432 right now, slowly moving up, and this is what we've asked them to do. So hopefully this will continue on towards day number 3.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. You need to play those positioning points. You need to play those placement points for yourself. But it's great to see NRX 432 also bagging those kills for themselves as they get that placement. A total of 8 kills to their name. TNC. This is team number 12, TNC Supremo, with 1 kill to themselves. And Vagabonds Nomads with the lackluster approach to that matchup this time around. KPH Wicked, on the other hand, managing to grab 4 kills in that 7th position. Sigra Poseidon with the placement points for, the tribe, but they don't really bag a lot from that 8th spot. And just 1 kill is going to hurt them overall and allow the other teams to catch up with them. Cerulean with the 3 kills, and HE Phoenix, on the other hand, with the 4 points through the kills, but the 10th position overall. The Alpha Ape in the 11th spot, no kills. that ought to hurt. But Easy Reborn, we expected a lot from them, but consistency is one that I guess we cannot expect back to back. Easy Reborn only with the 3 kills down at the 12th position, Neptune.
Yeah, I think it's the gunning down of the chopper that really lost it from them. And Royal Kings in there with 5 kills, but not that much on the placement. But let's check out the highlights of the games as we continue on this fight. TNC and Royal Kings right now, they have been battling this on and TNC from TNCK or from team the letter K has been failing so far. So we have asked them so far, the TNC Emperors, to change their drop points so as not to lose the placement that they can give out onto display.
Yeah.
But they haven't changed it just yet. Thus, they have been taken down one at a time.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And we asked for the change for a very specific reason, right? Because they need to just find the sustainability out there on the battlefield. If not, it is just going to hurt them overall with the points. But it just doesn't seem to be the adjustment that they are able to bring in just yet. Maybe they've got a different strategy that they're trying to execute out there on the battlefield. But either way, it doesn't seem to be hitting. Destin as well as Nyx just didn't stand a chance against the raging virus as it just continued to infect everybody out there on the battlefield. And I believe this was the position where Blue got taken out by NRX 420 as well, as things just started getting a little bit heated in that battle out there on the battlefield, Neptune.
Yeah, and final stretch, I mean, from mid to final stretch, it has been crazy. Back to back battles overall, and wherever you turn, you'll have an enemy. But this time, we have NRX 420 who have a good position from the edge of the zone, just looking for enemy and still staying on higher ground. The moment that they see one, they will be jumping in there and will be taking them out at a certain point. But this time, they were able to maintain at least 3 members of their name before being gunned out later on. And that is Almighty on the other side, just waiting and patiently waiting as to who they can target to be able to get that number 1 spot.
And to grab that number 1 spot, obviously, that is the goal for everyone here. But the number 1 spot does not reward you in the way it used to in the past with just 16 teams in here. It only gives 10 placement points. But as little as they are, they just become that much more precious in the competition. And all of the teams, as they move on up for the very safe place to grab the number 1 spot, Almighty Prime, they were the ones to strike hard this time around, managing to shut down Zeus in that final encounter and grab that number 1 spot, and to continue catching up with the top 3 teams with their performance in here this time around.
And they need to continue catching up. Not really a need, but if they really want to show that Almighty is an almighty brand that will be able to lessen the scores between them, then they will need to move that up. But the important part here in the semifinals is to be able to get to the top 8. And so far, Almighty was able to maintain their position, not really letting go, not really falling behind against so many teams, thus still have a greater chance. But this is a chance for them as well to show that when they jump into the grand finals, they will not be taken down that easily as they battling on the top 8 from both brackets of the semifinals.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And, as they battle off in the grand finals later on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, things are just going to get a little bit tougher. So you can count this as the training grounds for all of the teams, as the grounds where they go ahead and prepare for that final war, which will span across 3 days, just like what we have witnessed in the semifinals. And if you guys thought things were crazy in here already, wait till you see what we have got in store for you over those 3 days of finals, right? Because where we will have the top 8 of each semifinals teams moving on in, only the supremest of supremes will be able to move on to that stage and do battle. And if it was tough to pull away that number 1 spot in here, it's going to get even tougher right there, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of number 1 spot, I think it's time for us to see who is on a number 1 as well as the remaining placement of the leaderboard. So we have right now Vagabonds Nomads in here, 197, barely crossing, or not really crossing the 200 mark just yet, but not too far behind with only 4 points. Vagabonds Esports right there with 193 with only a few more games, AJ, compared from what we've seen
Yeah.
today, they will be able to overtake it unless the Nomads shows us what they showed us from day number one. But we'll have yet to challenge them, and as well as Baggins Esports to challenge them to pop off for the upcoming matches.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, just like what the point that we brought up earlier on already, it is the placement point the Vagabonds Nomads could not pick up that is going to play against them when Vagabonds Esports catches up alongside NRX 420 as well, albeit NRX 420 just a couple of matches behind them, right? They need about 31 points to catch up to Vagabonds Esports, and that's going to be quite the effort that is taken. Unless, of course, NRX 420 can bag two back-to-back matches with Supreme, maybe 20 kills out of each and every single lobby, then maybe. But, you know, with the current performance, it just doesn't seem to be that dominant run will be possible anytime soon. NRX 420 just haven't proven that just yet. Almighty Prime, they maintain their consistency. They maintain their pressure onto NRX 420 as they themselves catch up with the top three. 97 points, getting closer and closer to that 100-point mark. Phoenix, we expected them to continuously rise up from the ashes, and rise up from the ashes, they do so. Sitting down in the 5th position with 79 points, and hot behind them, SDPH Generals. Two of these teams have managed to step it up a few notches and have brought in the consistency into day two that we so desperately needed from them. And SDPH Generals now just 6 points behind Phoenix themselves, followed by KPH Wicked as well as Easy Reborn Esports Magna in the 7th and 8th place, wrapping up the left-hand side of the leaderboard.
Now you have the right hand side, Royal Kings and Cerulean Legion. They have a trade places from the previous lineup. Royal Kings was able to move up right now, but not that much against Cerulean Legion. But those moving up is NRX Efficients for 3-2. Efficiently enough, they have slowly moved in and take those much kill points that they need, taking the lead against Cerulean Legion with only 1 point. And we'll have to see tomorrow if they will be able to cross over that line, which is the top 8. But going in on TNC Supremo, Elixus Vicious, TNC Emperors, Alpha 8 Wrath, and Sigrid Poseidon, they still have yet to challenge everyone and move up to be able to get and grab the spot for the grand finals, AJ.
Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at tomorrow's schedule. For anyone that is wondering what are we having in store for you guys, it will be day 3, the final day for semi-finals 2. It'll be the final opportunities lined up. 6 back-to-back matches just like today, where the teams will be able to earn their final points to see who are the top 8 that'll be moving on to the grand finals that'll be played over 3 days, so that they get a slice of that $25,000 prize pool, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. That is 1.3 million pesos that will be divided among these teams. But for those of you who aren't here, who have been good enough in showing your support, our surprise, well, not really a surprise, our gift to you is the Rare Wish Crate that will be shown on the screen. And I hope you redeem that after the show. And
Yeah.
this is a limited surprise, guys. So hopefully you will understand. If in case by tomorrow you will be able to show as much support as you did today, as
Yes.
same as yesterday, and even more surprises will be going your way as well.
Absolutely. Keep all of that support coming through your likes as well as shares. If you guys haven't liked or shared the page just yet, the stream just yet, please do so that the rest of the audience can catch the replay if they just haven't had the opportunity for the day just yet. But we do thank you for all of your support, community. Make sure you continuously give us your love tomorrow as well. But that is it for the day. This has been day number 5 overall, but day number 2 for semifinals 2. Tomorrow will be the final day of the semifinals before we get to enjoy all of the action on the grand finals. On that note, my name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with the one and only Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia, signing off.